Welcome, Internet, to the Play Some Video Games podcast. It's your boy, Dat Ninja Dev, joined as always by Donnie, Eat the Hype Reese, and Delvin. I've got a TV constantly going in the background. Cox, who also is liking orange soda today.
He's got to be ready when Shane McMahon shows up.
I was wondering how long we was going to just stand there and just stare at each other awkwardly until the goddamn stove shot. I'm just looking at us all just staring at each other like, all right, this is what we're going to do all episode? That's cool.
We didn't see the intro or anything?
I saw the intro.
Okay.
And then it stopped and we were just staring at each other like, okay. Like it stopped early for me.
That's Florida stuff.
You know, yeah, that's you and your internet being in Florida. Like, it's always going to be a surprise with Delvin. We never know what his internet is going to give us.
Yes.
Just assume that it's working.
Yeah, we just
It's
have
working.
to.
I'm here. I'm live. I'm in living color. I do what I want to do as long as it's in living color.
Until you're
Great
not,
show.
because your internet decided not today.
Call the
My
Pug's here.
internet's pretty good. Fuck you, Cowderpug.
YouTube's
is.
here. Is Twitch here?
I don't know.
Twitch is here.
Everybody's here. It's a party.
Looks like it's working.
He said Future's here. I like Future.
Future's here?
Fuck up some commas. Great
Jesus.
song.
No.
It's a fantastic song, yeah.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
I wish I had money to fuck up some commas.
Yeah. I mean, you might. The way you be buying stuff, you might.
Nah.
We don't know.
I am poor.
You definitely.
I am cash poor.
Are you?
Me too. I'm about to sell some stuff. I hit up D-Life. I was like, yo, you want some stuff?
Buy these things. Buy these things for me.
You
Deals
can
with
buy him
Donnie.
some random handhelds. He'd buy that
I have
shit.
to. I might have
Sell
to.
him some Nokia phones.
I want to buy some stuff. The problem is I'm loaded with like GameStop cash from like trade-ins and stuff and purchases, but I don't want it like I'm protecting it like it's like my rainy day fund. Like I don't want to dip into it.
You might want to sell that shit. I don't think GameStop's
Sell.
It's too long for the world. You gonna fuck around? That's gonna be food gold.
I'm back on GameStop, so I'm all in. It's where I've bought my last.
They're all in till they're all gone.
Yeah, and then you know what? Then I'll clean up at the end. You know, like I'll be there for the doorbusters because they're the only people that are giving me any sort of reward for any sort of like continuous shopping. You know, like I'm feeling the squeeze, and nobody gives a fuck anymore.
So is the Best Buy thing over with?
Unless you have a Best Buy credit card. Yep.
I do have a Best Buy credit card, and their points are shit now.
They are.
It used to be good, and they've all but gotten rid of it. Their selection is shit. Their service is shit. Like I just stopped. I'm done with you.
Yeah, that's rough.
No mas.
Yeah,
And you can't even buy you can't buy digital currency with any of the points or anything.
any of the
either. So
points, any of the cards.
it's like, what's the point?
You know,
What
you
am
can't
I
trade
doing
in
here?
at least. So GameStop, if you're the rewards program, you get the magazine, which I don't really look at because it's digital, but they give you $5 coupon a month,
That's true.
which is good. You get like double the points. They have pro weeks every month where you get a special discount on games and accessories and stuff like that. You get extra trade-in credit. So
Y'all
it's
just
the
trying to
best
give
deal
you
that I
advice.
can find at the moment, unless you're, you know, dealing with Delvin's GameSpot, whatever it is.
Yeah, we don't know what the hell that is.
Stoop.
I
Game
haven't
something.
been there so long. I don't
Makes
live
me
by
wonder if you were
GameStop
ever
anymore.
really there.
That's
Probably
true.
not.
You moved.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I work by there, but I don't go by there now. I'm far.
I'm shocked.
I thought
live
about it.
by
You
Five Below now.
Five Below.
That's not the same. they have games there, but not any games I want.
That's
I
true.
bought Starlink at Five Below, $4.99. I got Starlink.
That doesn't
complete
surprise me
edition.
at all.
I
It was awesome.
think I bought a 2K game from there or something.
I did buy a 2K game there. I think it was 22 or something like that for like $5. They always have like
$5.
Elder Scrolls there,
Really?
like the online one. It's always there.
Oh, yeah,
like no one
Elder
buys
Scrolls
that
Online.
shit.
Yeah.
They're like, here, just buy it, please. Like,
Just
no,
here,
I'm
just
not
take
buying
it.
I haven't been into a Five Below in at least 2 years.
I
I'm
don't think
always
I've ever
there.
been in one.
My kids love Five Below because it's
Yeah,
always
my
something
kids
that
do
you can
too.
get.
My wife and kids, they always go, but I never go. They'll like
It's a
send me
whole bunch
pictures
of-
and stuff.
Useless shit you can buy. Like,
But I'm about to
how
fuck
many-
up some Halloween shopping. I'll tell you that. So
It is
I'm already-
July still.
it's
Jesus
Halloween
Christ.
time, baby.
It's Halloween
It's
time.
August, sir.
It
We'll be
is
by the
not
end-
August.
We'll be by the
It's
end
July
of this episode.
still.
Okay,
For
it's
you?
August.
For you, it won't be August for me.
Yeah.
What do you mean, you people?
Look, Donnie has broken me because now I just like from
Good. Broken Delvin Cox. You get over that
Yes.
Shane McMahon bullshit you were peddling. earlier.
no, not even that. No, you were wrong. That's not. That's
No,
not
I'm
the
not
point.
wrong.
You are 100%
Man is
wrong.
just coming after me on my own damn show.
No,
Both of them. We'll get Rebecca in on it too. She's like, "Oh God, I've been waiting to do this forever."
I did not put the question out there.
And this past week was just a train wreck. You just talked about Transformers and fucking Iron Man for an hour and a half.
Goddamn right.
I was like, God,
I don't
why is
see
this
what the
podcast-
problem is.
It's a problem.
I don't
Nobody wants to
understand
hear
what the
that.
issue
That's the
is.
problem. But
I
sorry
think
for
they
interrupting.
do.
Continue.
They did. They enjoyed it.
Who they? Who's they?
They.
Not the
them.
seven.
Yeah, the
I
seven.
mean, the
never
seven
watched
come
Shaq.
here. The
They come
Shack is a
here.
whole different. The Shack is
Whole
like
different party.
27.
Yeah, we have
you know?
777.
Yeah, see, they're here for Delvin shenanigans and
I
nonsense.
don't know.
They're here
I
for
don't know if they're there for the Iron Man.
Yeah, they're there for me and Rebecca. They like that. We're
Maybe
the
they'll
tag
bring
team.
him back. He can be in Black Panther, and he can be the Hulk, and they'll just keep doing that.
Yeah. I want
bad.
Robert Downey Jr. to play everything now. I want
why
him back as Black Panther now.
Why not? Sure. I mean,
I was opposed
I'm
to
here
it, but
for
now, not a bad idea.
Nice.
RDJ can just do it all. He can
That's
play
awesome,
every
bud.
character in the movie. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Dude is ancient now. Let it go. This guy
Who
from
cares
Delvin,
how old
Mr.
you are?
Dev is like, let things in, let things die. Kill it in the past if you have to.
No.
Not
Yeah,
this, apparently. This
I
is
don't
the
really
exception.
care about this at all. Like the whole Doctor
do I.
Doom thing, I'm not interested. I don't
He's in
care.
a mask.
But as far as I'm concerned, let him do it all. We have CG. You know, we can de-age him. Who cares how old he is? It doesn't matter.
We have a
matter.
president
AI.
that's
Why even have him act at all?
999 years old.
Why even have him act at all? We'll just have AI do it. Why even
I'm
have
here for
somebody?
it. Let's
You just be
go.
a voice.
Let's go.
Doesn't matter. We have a
Let's do
president
it.
that's 1,000 years old and a person running for president that's 999 years old. So what difference does it make? Do what you want to do now at this point. Who gives
Works
a
for
fuck?
me.
We're all just
Works
going
for
to
me.
die anyway.
This
Fuck
is
it.
true.
Sooner than you
true.
think.
What I was going to say was I was going to give props to Donnie earlier before you interrupted me that
That's what I'm
now
saying.
he's
Let it bring
trained
up now.
me. He's trained me to like watch movies to get ready for Decade of Horror. So I've been watching
Yes.
movies like
Man,
months in advance.
did you see the movie I just watched?
Which one?
The one I posted about in Decade Horror?
I did not see that. Need to
I
check
just
that
watched
out.
my 22nd movie of the year from this year. And it's called The Coffee Table. And it's the most depraved black comedy shit I have ever watched in my entire life.
Okay.
It
okay.
is not for everybody. It's not for the
Okay.
faint of heart. If you're one of those people that don't want to be offended or see cruel things or don't find funny and bad things happen to people, this is not the movie for you. But if you like the platform, if you are into the killing of sacred deer, this is this on steroids, and it's amazing.
I saw the TV glow.
It's on my to-do list. I've been very much wanting to watch it. I'm waiting
It's a
for the rental
fascinating movie.
rights. You can only buy it. I'm waiting for the rental.
That's correct. You can only buy it.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating movie. I wouldn't call it horror.
Well, there's always
Yeah.
horror movies that aren't horror every year. You know,
like-
I watched
like
one of
this-
those this week myself.
Yeah, it's 100. I wouldn't say it's labeled horror, but it is not a horror film.
Yeah,
like there's
that happens.
nan been a scary part in that movie at all.
I watched one movie that's like an hour and 20 minutes of not horror at all, just drama. And then there's like 4 minutes of zombie. And I was like, oh, so that's why it's a horror movie.
Yeah, that's how I saw the TV glow. It's something very similar to that. Like one scary scene. Like okay, that's how you got it there labeling horror, but it's not really horror.
Haley says it's body horror.
Yes, it's. I don't want to spoil the movie. I think it's a very fascinating
yeah.
movie. I think
We
it's a good
We
movie.
have a show coming up just for this very occasion.
Yes,
But did you
it
like
may
it?
make the list. It may. I think I did.
I don't even know what list. Like, how many movies do we do?
We do
We just
5.
talk about all of them.
We do 5, and you do 1,000 honorable mentions. That's how we do it
Honorable
every
mentions,
year. It depends
Every
on
time
how
we do
drunk
it,
you
list,
get,
I just-
how many honorable mentions we get.
What list? I'm just going to talk about all the movies I watched.
If Donnie's really drunk, we get 30 honorable mentions.
Who needs a list? Let's just talk about it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ain't you never seen none of my movies?
But yeah, I'm quickly closing up my this year list, and then once October hits, I'm watching all old movies. And
I'm waiting till August for that to close my list.
I've already set my October watch list. I have 15 movies that I'm watching this October.
Okay,
and it's already etched in stone. It's set. 2 movies, or how many movies out a week? 15 divided by 4, whatever that is. That's how many movies I'm watching in October.
There's a lot of horror movies coming out in October.
Hopefully,
August.
I can get into there maybe like mid-September, because that's usually when I put up my decorations, and that's probably when I'll get started on the list.
Okay, like you got Aliens coming out.
Yep, I'll be seeing that day 1 in theaters. I'm definitely looking for
what's
Alien Romulus.
the M. Night Shyamalan movie called?
That's already out, I thought. Didn't that just come
It's
out?
out already?
Trap?
I think that'll come out like this week, doesn't it?
It might come out this week, yeah. The ones that I have on my list are Alien Romulus and Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Beetlejuice is horror.
My kids have never seen it. My wife has never seen it, so we're going to watch
comedy horror, but it's horror.
That's just comedy.
It's still horror. It could be horror themed. It doesn't have to be scary to be horror.
It ain't horror. Ain't nothing horror.
There's many horror comedies.
It's just funny.
Why would it not be?
It's just
It's
comedy.
definitely horror.
It's just funny.
It has a horror aesthetic.
No,
not an
it's got the Tim Burton aesthetic. That's like calling Nightmare Before Christmas horror. Is that horror?
It is a horror movie.
It kind of is. Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
It kind of is. It absolutely is a horror movie.
Oh my god! All right, moving on. Y'all have a whole show for this shit. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Yeah. Play some video games. That's the show.
Moving on. What the hell you been up to, Delvin?
Nothing. Almost dying. And then my friends tell me, you weren't going to die.
You didn't almost die.
Didn't almost die.
The doctor told me I was going to die.
Of course they do.
That's what they're
Have you ever met a salesman? Don't they tell you everything you need?
They don't tell me I'm going to almost die.
They tell you your TV is almost going to die. They tell you your roof is almost going to die. They tell you your paint was going to die. And you need a new one right now.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
That's how that works.
Why do you think with WebMD, when you search it up, you're always dying?
That is a good point. Because I damn sure looked at it like, you're probably dying. You should
Round
probably go to the
32,
doctor.
his blood pressure spiked.
Like, dramatically. It went to like from 130, because I'm always at 130, to 190.
Like bigly.
That is a lot. I know these two.
It was the biggest.
Blood
It was
pressures.
the highest blood pressure.
So, do you just
time.
constantly monitor your blood pressure to know that it's always at 130, or is that
Yes,
just what
I actually
happens when
do.
you go to the doctor and they take it?
No, I actually do. From the last time I got high blood pressure, I monitor it all the time now. Like once a day.
I have chronic high blood pressure, and I never monitor that shit ever.
Same. It's just
I'm like, turn that off.
No.
I don't want to see the
Because
numbers.
you already know the results.
Just leave it exactly. Just turn it off. Nobody
Like
needs
if
this.
you, know, if you know you're failing
Let
the
me
class,
live
why bother checking your
in
grades?
ignorance. Let me live in bliss.
let me just take my pill and call it a day.
Plug me back in. Telling you,
Yeah.
what a movie that was beyond its years. Plug me the fuck back in, please.
Why, oh, why did I take the blue pill?
I can't take this in.
See, y'all is even saying the same thing. Guys, monitor your blood pressure. And no, John 32, I did not have a dental work done recently. That's a good question. I think it is stress. It was stress. A lot of stress.
You're stressing this week?
Yeah, I'm stressing. People stressing me out. I was supposed to have
just
like
life is stress.
I was supposed to have like Saturday off, and they fucked up my Saturday completely. I was so upset. It was a bad Saturday.
Well, you're in charge. You're the boss. That's what happens.
That's what happens. Yeah, you're right. I was like, have my Saturday all planned out. Like I was gonna go take my kids to go hang out and stuff, and we were gonna go what's the damn thing called? Can't remember the name of the thing. My son had to get his computer fixed for one, and it was by like a farmer's market. That's what it was.
Oh,
So we were gonna hang out in the farmer's market all day, and first and foremost, they called me to come in to go meet one of the owners, and that was supposed to be like a 10, 15-minute meeting, was turned to a 2-hour meeting It wasn't
Eesh.
fun. Honestly, I'm like, yo, y'all ain't got shit else to do. and like, no, they didn't. They just wanted to sit there and talk to me. Then after I left that meeting, I had to go. I was out with my kids, and they called me saying, "Hey, this tenant's AC completely blew out. You have to go write a check. Go back to their office, which is an hour away, and write a check for $4,000, and then go take it to the guy." Like, so then I had to sit on the phone with the owner of the building for like another 2 hours. By the time I finished all that shit, it was like 5 o'clock. I'm like, fuck it, my day's shot.
It was Sunday when you were done.
Pretty much.
Ooh, no, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that was your Saturday.
It was terrible.
Did your son at least get his computer fixed?
No, it's still broken.
What's wrong?
It's in the shop.
Time to get a new one.
What's wrong with it?
He
buy a new
tore
one.
something on it.
Just get a new one.
I don't know what the fuck he did. He was trying to install something on it, and he tore something out of it and fucked it up. Like, oh, I don't know
What do you
tell
mean
bro.
he tore something out of
If you tore
I
something
don't-
out of it, there's no fixing that. That's a replacement of a motherboard.
I don't know what he did. He tore something. He said they got to fix it.
Time to buy a new one.
Yeah.
He don't have no money.
Oh, that's
How's he getting it
time for
fixed then?
you to buy a new one.
No, I'm not buying a new one. That's not it. That's not happening. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, if he can get in there and tear something out of it, he should be good enough to put something back into it. It's not that hard.
No, I wouldn't think so. I'm not doing that shit.
It's Legos. You know,
Yeah, it's
you
Legos.
know you could just say, "Hey Dev, take a look at this." You know, we chat
Well,
enough.
He wouldn't do it on his own. He big badass.
Before you
I got
took it
this
to the
thing.
Why
shop.
didn't you tell him to fix it on his own?
Yeah.
Cause he wanted to go to a mechanic on his own, so he told me to drive him to a mechanic. That's being independent.
God damn it.
Wow.
So you had a
Del-
shit Saturday.
Delvin-
Was your Sunday any better at least?
I don't remember my Sunday. I might have been dead Sunday.
He was on Shaq.
Shaq was fun.
He was on
Me and
Shaq.
Rebecca always have fun on Shaq.
He was very
I
happy
like-
to do. I was not on Shaq. I have not been on Shaq in a couple weeks.
Donnie just like said, "Fuck this! I'm taking vacation," and I'm here for it. I love
That's
the
because
fact
after
Donnie's
y'all
taking
took vacation, y'all left
Yeah.
me, and I was like, I'm not just letting y'all just do this to me.
I wasn't mad at it at all. That was the point of me saying we should get more people in here. So if Donnie needs to take off, Tony can
can do
leave and
that.
take off.
It's
And
been
yeah,
nice because I haven't had a whole lot to say on Shaq anyway. So
There's nothing going on.
generally, there is nothing going on. It is kind of the dregs of the news, but also I'm a very overpowering like personality on a podcast, and I realize that I can be rude as a talker, especially when I get like stuck in the train of thought. I can talk over people and interrupt people. So sometimes I like to. Well, I'm cognizant that it happens. I try my best to apologize, but it's like one of those involuntary things that like I know it's happening, but like I can't like stop myself from doing it, right? So sometimes I think it's good for me to just take a break and just give everybody else space. And then they use that space to fucking murder me, like just like stab me in the back,
That wasn't the case at all.
like instantly.
You need to blame the Shaq fans because they were like, now that Donnie's not here, let's talk shit about him.
100%.
That's
Donnie's
what
not
happened.
here. Oh, shit talk. Let's go.
Like, all right,
I enjoyed it. It's fun.
it's funny.
It's like Delvin murdering me every time I'm not on the show.
It's like
Oh, we
being
killed
roasted.
Dev.
It was not too bad. I took
Nah.
loving it. Only Rebecca's was like real. Rebecca's was like, oh, there's like emotion behind this. She feels this.
It's just a different environment when Donnie's not there on Shaq. One,
100%.
Rebecca's like, look here, we got an hour. We're gonna be out of here.
We are in
started
and out
an
of
hour late.
Robberia.
They get out in like
Rebecca-
40 minutes. They started at like 11:30 this week. They were like, just like, when is the show? Like, it just happens whenever it happens.
It's like, hey, Rebecca's like, hey, you got an hour? I got an hour. Ready to go? It's gonna be.
Yeah, see, and Delvin told my story wrong. He's got all the Shaq listeners think I don't know the Pokemon rap. I know the fucking Pokemon rap. I've been listening to this shit since I was like 4. I know the goddamn Pokemon rap. I can't a cappella sing it back to you, but if it's on, I know the words and I can sing to it. That wasn't the song. The song was some punk shit I never heard of in Sonic Adventure 2. which I think is totally defensible. Like you, like, forgive me for not knowing the damn soundtrack to Sonic Adventure 2.
No one knows that soundtrack.
I was going to say,
he
nobody
does.
should.
You do
My
the
son
test.
might.
My son.
Not only did he know the song, he knew what minigame the song came from.
That guy's a fucking
too much.
loser.
Too much.
I don't call him.
Yeah, I got like
often.
4 messages that day. Like, you don't know the Pokemon? I was like, God damn it!
That's great. I am proud of myself now.
Jeez, slander the whole damn story, get it all wrong.
Yeah.
It's like headlines that like mislead people. Nobody went to the show to listen to it. Nobody gave a shit about it. Nobody actually wanted the source. They're like, no, but Delvin said you don't know the damn words.
I wanted them to go listen to the show, and they chose not to. That's their
not
fault.
one person did. They just
I appreciate they just went
Took that headline, that clickbait, and ran with it.
ran with it. Just fake
He
news.
doesn't know the Pokemon rap. Well, unsubscribe. Can't listen to this shit anymore.
Unsubscribe.
It's gonna be in our reviews soon. I heard the host doesn't know the words to the Pokemon.
Pokemon rap.
That would be amazing, actually. Everybody do that. That'd be funny.
Everybody should do that.
We won't read it, so please do it.
I would 100% read it. I might read it on the show.
I don't do any of that.
I have
stuff.
never seen or read any review for our show.
This show I haven't either. I have Shaq occasionally because on my podcast app it's pulled it up. I don't think we've gotten any in like a year, which is fine.
I'm
Yeah,
terrified to
surprising.
read any reviews on this show.
We had the one that I know, because of course you only remember the negative ones. Somebody gave us a 1 star for like talking about spoilers about like some NES games, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. Like I felt like accomplished. I'm not going to listen to you anymore.
great.
And I was like, this is the point. This is accomplishment. This is what I'm trying to do here.
For spoiling an NES
You and everybody else can get the fuck on somewhere.
game? That's what it is, boy. We need
It
to
was
spoil
very
NES
funny.
games all the time.
I
should.
love the show until they started talking spoilers and people like these games. Like, oh, get over yourself.
NES games, like, come on.
It's just too much, man.
I bet that was Kyle the Pug.
We take it too seriously. Gamers take all of this way too damn seriously. Too much.
Way too serious.
It's
Way too
supposed to
serious.
be just fun. Why are you so serious about it? It's ridiculous.
But yes, I turn all that stuff off as much as possible. I don't do polls. I don't do comments. Like, I would love to turn it all off if I could. So,
I don't know who that is. I don't know any of these people you're naming, Haley.
The Sultan of the Spoil. Yeah.
Yep.
Johnny, how about you? How's your week been? How was your weekend? You do anything
Hope it's
cool?
better than your
Anything
other week.
it has been, yeah, for sure. I have not been doing a whole lot. Kids go back to school tomorrow, so it's been a lot of
Damn.
ramping up for that, getting them school supplies,
Already?
shoes, outfits, and all that. Yep, tomorrow
On a Thursday?
on a Thursday. They start school on a Thursday.
But they ready to get the fuck out of here. Like, fuck these
August
kids. Get your ass
1st?
back in school.
Did y'all start school in September back in the day, or did you guys start in August?
We had this same conversation last year
Okay.
this time.
We started August 30th.
I started in September in school in Ohio, but that was back in like the 90s. Here in Georgia, I think they've always started in August. Now it's moved from, I think when I first got here, it was late August, and now it's the start of August. And I think what's happened is over the years, they've built in more time for breaks during the year, and they have flexible days now, which is something that we've had for the kids for like the last decade or so that I never had. Where
The
they
hell is a
basically have
flexible day.
they have time built into the calendar where, like, if let's say there's like a snowstorm and it closes school for 3 days or something like that, they have time built in to make that up. Or if they're ahead of schedule, they'll do like they'll do like a teacher work day where all the kids stay home and like only the teachers go to school, or they'll do like a digital day, like it's like basically like a nobody works day. If they're
What
ahead
the
of
hell
schedule.
am I supposed to do if I gotta go to work and my kid?
I've always wondered that, but I know what my mom did.
terrible
My mom
idea.
left my ass at home and told me not to open the door. Like, I know
Yep.
what my mom did. I don't know what people are doing today, but when I bring that up, my wife tells me that that's crazy talk. Like, you
Yeah,
can't do
I
that.
can't
Life-
imagine leaving my 8-year-old at home by himself. Like that's
We
just.
had daycare when they were that age. Like we had daycare until Victoria could stay home. But that's how it works. They have a lot of breaks though. Like every month or two, they're off for a week, so they have a lot of breaks throughout the school year. Like
that is
For example, they start school tomorrow. I have just put in for a vacation. I will be away because I'm going to the beach in mid-September because that's their first break. Their first break is in September. So they
got
start
a
tomorrow
week off in September.
and they have an entire week off in September.
Must be nice.
Kind of nonsense.
That's been the case for several years now. I'm not sure if you guys remember last year, but like I usually plan to put up my Halloween decorations in their off week. That's usually when I try to get my stuff up. So, but this year I won't be doing that because this year I'm getting the hell out of town. So I'm very excited. The kids are not coming with me. Yeah, I mean, like it's definitely I didn't spend a whole lot of money, but I spent a lot more money on vacation than I normally do. My wife and I have a beachside, beach view hotel room for a week.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, definitely going to take that in because I think it's sorely needed. I need to like just put my feet in the sand and put a drink in my hand somewhere.
Disconnect, unplug, and get the hell out of here.
100%.
I like it.
So
I totally get it because I did it.
But on the gaming front, I'm playing games. I did execute my trade down plan, which is a part of the reason why I have so much fucking GameStop credit now. I picked up a Series S. We talked about last week how they're super hard to get, and you can't even buy like the black one and all that. I found a listing on eBay. The guy wanted 165. I talked to him 145. He accepted it. So I got my Series S. It's used, but I cleaned it up when I got it, and I've been using it all week. And I'm actually quite surprised at how little difference in the experience that I notice. I'm also not playing like gigantic, big next gen games right now. I'm playing Gears 2. I'm playing NCAA football. I'm just like playing stuff. So like I probably wouldn't notice I'm not playing like Forza or Hellblade or anything like that. But the experience of just like having the UI, watching movies, like watching horror movies and stuff like that, like all that's in 4K. It's all the same. It's just the big beefy games don't run like that. But the experience, like the UI, the navigation experience, everything, I was like, because I've given Jack shit for years for his Series S, and I always tease him, and here I am playing, and I was like, it's actually pretty good though.
What a great little console.
It's not like the downgrade on NCAA, which I sent you guys pictures, is honestly hardly noticeable. I was like, I mean, I understand that the resolution isn't as high, but like, this is the same game. Like it's running and playing and generally looks the exact same. It's not like, I realized that like, what is that one game that came out that everybody loved? Was it Baldur's Gate? Like isn't that on Series S like atrocious? Like, right? That's like really bad.
Is that the one?
I thought it was that one. I think it wasn't even on Xbox because they couldn't get it to run on the Series.
Yes.
Maybe was it Dogma? I might be getting them confused, but there was one game out there that was like pretty bad on Series S. But I'm not playing those games, and if I was playing those games, I'm playing those games on my PC anyway, which is why I did the downgrade. So like I'm enjoying freeing up the money that I got, and I've been playing those. I did play that Full Court Heroes game that I mentioned to you last week, Delvin. The game is pretty fun. If that game ever comes to Switch, watch out. I could lose a lot of time to something like that. It's pretty fun.
I saw what you were showing me. It looks pretty cool.
It's pretty simple. I hope they add a little bit more to the actual gameplay element, because once you get the hang of it, you just start owning folks. But there was difficulty. I was playing on normal, so I could always turn it up. But they looked like they had season mode, a dynasty mode, exhibition mode. Like there looked like stuff that was there. Reminded me some of like the old like NES, SNES basketball games of the time.
I was thinking Double Dribble.
It does look like
it looked like a worse Double Dribble.
Why is it gonna be worse? Because why do you gotta hate everything you don't know?
The way the actual shooting and stuff was, I was like, ugh, absolutely not. We can
damn. It's like Double Dribble, but way worse. Like when you want to be 2K, it's 16-bit, man.
I'd like it to have better shooting mechanics. At least be NBA Live.
Demo. Anyway, I enjoy that they had like teams that were there. I played the Atlanta Firebirds, which was funny. Like I enjoy when sports games do this sort of we are but we aren't sort of thing. I think that's hilarious. And like I said, when you have a portable system like a Switch or a Steam Deck or something, you don't want 180 gigs of NBA 2K. It takes up a ton of your space. So having like a little game that you can play that's like a gig is nice. It's nice to have.
Have more space. Just
for a time
waster. Have more space.
Throw more stuff in there for sure.
Just throw more space in there, That's all.
Dev, do you remember things called NBA In the Zone?
Yeah,
I used to love that game.
that was my first PS1 game.
I remember this
What
game
a
too.
great basketball game.
Yeah,
I kind of missed that era of basketball game. That one, it was one thing. It was called Run and Gun.
Running Gun.
Mine
That was
was-
the arcade version.
I think mine
Yes.
was the era after that. Like I'm in that GameCube,
Okay.
PS2, Dreamcast, like maybe like
You're in
even
the
like
Kobe
Wii,
Bryant
like early Wii
courtside
stuff.
era.
Oof.
Yeah, like I like
Oof.
the earliest versions of like NBA Live and stuff like that. I really enjoyed.
NBA Live '95 on Genesis, baby. That's my
That
favorite.
was a
That's
good
one of my
one.
favorite basketball games of all time. That and Coach K basketball. 'Cause that was the first
Back
game
when we
I
had,
shaved
like,
the backboard in.
Final Four basketball and college.
I remember
basketball.
Final Four
NCAA
basketball. I used to
Final
love
Four,
that
yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the early 2K things, like 2K1 and 2K2 and shit. That was like my jam. I loved those games.
College hoops. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I dig those.
2K2. I loved. I always think it's NBA Live 06 with Wade on the cover. Was it 6? Which this shouldn't come as a surprise to you. This is the same thing for NCAA. Same thing for Madden. I love Madden 6 with, is it McNabb with the cones and the QB vision and shit. Those are like my favorite.
I used to like
sports
QB
games.
Vision.
I still do. They added like a big element of gameplay to the game. It really made it super fun. And it really set aside like good quarterbacks from bad quarterbacks. That's something that like sports games still don't quite really do. Like
Yeah.
all quarterbacks are just, it's like who's faster or slower. That's really the difference. But like it added like an actual gameplay thing to be like, no, but this dude's a field general. This dude like owns the offense. Like it gave him an advantage that wasn't,
This guy.
oh, but he's just Mike Vick or not, which is what it was up until that point. And I think I liked what that tunnel vision was, or that QB vision was doing for that.
I did too.
I wish they'd bring it back. I
That
always
certain
like that.
quarterbacks just couldn't fucking throw. So if you picked the quarterback who really
Yeah,
wasn't
and
good
you
at
had like
throwing,
really
precision,
tiny vision. You had to be really
Vision.
precise. Yeah, it was fun. Like it made the shit play like real. Me and my roommate at the time, man, we'd have seasons where we're winning games like 16-13 and shit back then because
it was hard.
we're going 12 for 29 for a touchdown and 2 picks. But when you look at the damn games, that's how John Kitna threw, man. He
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah.
Very accurate.
Yeah, I like that a lot. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I'm actually quite surprised at how much of the Series S I've been playing since I got it, because I haven't been playing my Xbox a whole lot. But once I got it, started to clean it up, started to set it up, started to use it, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And it's, I think it's probably just, new toy. Anytime you get something new, you're like, I want to mess with it. Did you guys happen to see my controller at all?
I don't think I did.
Nope.
So the Series S comes with a white controller, right? So the white Series S comes with a white controller.
Okay.
And it has like white buttons and like colored face buttons, right? The red, yellow, blue, whatever. I was looking at it and I was like, this is kind of cool. But I had my Fable controller with my Fable X, so I got rid of the Fable controller, and I was like, I want to make this controller like more of a Series S controller. So the Series S has that white black like yin yang kind of look, right? It's got that black grill and the black button. So what I did is I took one of my black controllers, I took the faceplate off, I took the buttons out, I took the faceplate off the white one, and I like mix matched it all together. So I have a black controller, so it's black back, black triggers with black face buttons, D-pad, colored face buttons, A, B, X, Y, but with a white faceplate. And I actually was like, yo, this looks kind of awesome. Like this should have been the controller. I think it was like almost like a perfect match. So
Sounds cool.
yeah, I'm enjoying it. Here all these years later, and I'm actually kind of digging the little console. I really like how less space it uses in my cubby. It's so small.
It's the brave
And
little toaster.
That's the reason that I think I'm going to sell some stuff. I want to buy one of those screens that you can attach to that damn thing.
I forgot that was the thing.
Yeah, and they're like
Snoop
not
Dogg
that
special.
expensive. And Yarden was
How
like,
much are
"Donnie, get the portal." It's like $150,
Huh. It's pretty good.
and like they just snap onto the back of it. They just plug in like automatic. It looks like it's like a OEM accessory. Like you wouldn't even know the difference. And I was like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Not that I would like take it often, but like if I was expecting to be at work for a long time, I could just take it to work, plug in a power cable, play fucking console from work. When I go on vacation, easy enough to throw in a bag, take it with you. It's kind of like a really awesome little portable little machine. Plus, Jack has a Series S too, so like if he goes to the grandparents or something, he can do it too. It's just like a neat little thing.
Yeah,
so I think I'm gonna
vacation.
flip something and pick up one of these little screens from the Series S and just kind of have like a little portable console if and when I choose to want one.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not a big, it's like an 11-inch screen. It's not big. It's a small screen. But it's built in, like I've seen people, there are people in like airplanes with like a portable battery that like play Series S. You just like flip up a screen. You're like, that's fucking insane.
I wonder how long it lasts on a portable battery.
That would depend on your battery. I can't imagine very long because the Series S is still a pretty hefty draw.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's kind of.
If you're in the airport, you just find somewhere to plug in and call it.
Hell yeah. You are cooking with gas. People walking by like, what are you doing? Fucking playing Forza natively? like ready to go? Fucking 100 frames a second? That's kind of nuts. Yeah, I just thought it'd be like a neat little fun exercise. Just got this new console, buy this little thing for it, kind of check it out and see it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I ain't been doing shit. I've played a little bit of college football, a little bit of D2.
I'm on season 2 college football now.
Nice.
I
haven't started a dynasty or anything.
I made it to a bowl. I simulated the bowl and I lost. And so I moved on to the next one. And my transfer, the transfer portal giveth and taketh away. So I can't be too upset. All my good players all left immediately. Like they're like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, God damn it. But like because of my school, I started my alma mater, Mercer, and it's like a 1-star reputation. Because I started at such a poor school, like I can't recruit for shit. Like I'm literally battling for 1-stars. Right? I also don't think the recruiting in Dynasty is like, I don't think the AI is all that good right now. Like the system doesn't really work. So I'm waiting for that patch to come through. But the transfer portal, because I was good and I have wins and I was good coaching, the transfer portal, I'm like, oh, I can get some 3-stars, maybe 4. I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like really, really focusing on the transfer portal, like kind of like some coaches in the middle tier schools, like Colorado and some. Like I'm like, fuck recruiting. Fuck recruiting. I'll just get some of these dudes because I can get better ones of these than elsewhere. So that's kind of where I'm at now, and I'm thinking probably after my second season, I'll probably take another job. I almost did this time, but I want to at least get into the top 4, and then
you want to be there for the kids. I get it.
Yeah. I made them a promise. Also, the offers
left. So
the offers for the first time weren't all that great anyway. Yeah. I was looking at like West Virginia and Kansas. I was like, no, not leaving for one of these schools, not yet. So
nice. Yeah, I have yet to really dig into the Dynasty. I've just been playing just one-off games here and there, just digging around with the controls and trying to understand the game a little bit better in the little bit of time that I've actually had to play. But other than that, I've done nothing. I watched, what was that? Let's see. The Scargiver? Goddamn, what is the name of that movie? Something that Jermaine hates. It's a Netflix movie that was only on Netflix, and I was watching it mainly to piss off JV.
Oh, good job.
And I actually really liked it.
I can get behind this.
Well, you failed.
Yeah. Huh? I failed?
Yeah. You said you really liked it. You were trying to piss off JV and you liked it. The Scargiver? Yeah. I'm trying to think what movie you're talking about.
It's a part 2 of something. God damn it. I can't think of the name of it. I got to try to remember what it was called because it pissed off JV, and I really appreciate that.
I still haven't watched Beverly Hills Cop yet, which is surprising.
Rebel Moon. That's what it is. Rebel Moon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I haven't watched either part of that yet.
I enjoyed part 1, and I finally got around.
That was dope.
To watching part 2, mainly to piss off JV, and it succeeded. And I enjoyed it, and I'd like to see another part of that.
Aren't they doing director's cuts of that soon?
Yeah, you're supposed to be doing some director cut, yeah.
I was thinking about giving it because I watched, like, to be 100% honest, I put it on in the background while we were doing other things, so I didn't really watch it. But I was, like, halfway interested, and I do like a lot of the cast. But I only heard about, like, what a train wreck it was. So
people apparently didn't really like it, so...
But I was thinking, like, I really like the director's cut of the Justice League, and I actually think that did a shit ton for that movie.
Yeah, same.
So I was thinking maybe the director's cut would be the same for these, and maybe I would actually give it a a full try with the director's
I
cut.
wanted to watch Rebel Moon. I was excited for it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I've been so busy.
Same. I mean, it came out back in April, and I wanted to watch it for my birthday, but I just didn't get around to it. We also watched the latest Ghostbusters movie, and that was pretty good, and we enjoyed that.
Frozen, whatever.
Frozen Empire.
Frozen Empire.
Like
that was okay.
Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed it.
It reviewed terribly.
I don't care about reviews.
I know you don't. I'm just saying.
The things I like get reviewed terribly.
Yeah, it got like 2s. Like it reviewed.
It's
really
okay.
Bad.
It isn't. I wouldn't say it's a 2. It's not a 2. It's probably.
My wife
5.
wanted to watch it, but
I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's Ghostbusters.
I haven't watched any of the new Ghostbusters movies.
I mean, there's only the one, unless you count
Well,
the
there's 2
ladies.
Like 3.
There's the ladies, and then there's the one Afterlife, Ghostbusters Afterlife,
and then this one.
Afterlife and this one are canon to the original Ghostbusters movie.
I've enjoyed all of them. It's
Really?
just Ghostbusters. It's nonsense.
So
It's
you're just
Ghostbusters.
here for Ghostbusters, like in the more. So like I'm kind of like protecting. Like I don't want to ruin what Ghostbusters is in my head.
Well,
I don't think it does that at all because it's.
Thanks,
it's
Delvin. Like I've been protecting myself again. I'm like I don't want to mess it up, man. Like,
I don't think they're.
Ghostbusters.
I don't think they're bad. But if you have a high expectation for Ghostbusters, you might not like it.
I just want it to be really good. Like if it's not really good, it's like then why did we do this? You know.
It's just Ghostbusters again. It has throwbacks to the original. It's just Ghostbusters. Like I don't think that. I think they're all on the exact same plane. Like I don't see that these have fallen off any different
here.
Yeah.
It's literally just.
I'm being honest. Like, and I thought the movies were okay. I thought the latest 2 are okay. But like I said, if you're like a diehard Ghostbusters fan, I can see how you'd get mad at some of the stuff. If you like Ghostbusters,
I'm definitely not like. I'm not gonna get mad.
Well, see, that's funny because Greg Miller, the ultimate Ghostbusters fan, actually liked these. So
yeah, he does.
So I'm wondering, like, is there because I wouldn't call myself like a Ghostbusters fan. I don't have like all the games. I'm not collecting figures and shit. I'm not like into it like that. So I'm wondering if you are into it like that. If you're just here for Ghostbusters, like, and it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, you're just happy for Ghostbusters.
It's fun. It's
so that's
different.
what it is. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm not just here for Ghostbusters.
I wouldn't even say it's different. It's like
kind of is
more of the same.
Because the original Ghostbusters movies focused on the adults, and this is kind of more focused on kids. So it's different in that way.
I mean,
I really like
Afterlife is like literally the same thing. It's like a remake. It's almost a reprisal of the first Ghostbusters. Same villain and everything.
Like Star Wars. It's like a reboot. Yeah.
It's not. It's literally like the same thing. Continuation. Let's fight the same bad guy. Let's have the same setup in just a different place.
I will say this: Afterlife to me is worth watching because of that ending sequence. That ending sequence was great. I teared up a little bit with that ending sequence. That was like, ooh.
Okay, maybe I'll give it a try one day. Yeah. 'Tis not this day because my Halloween is packed. I'm full.
Yeah, so
do you consider Ghostbusters a horror film?
Watching stuff.
No, not really.
Okay, I want to make sure I was checking.
No,
but Beetlejuice is.
Yeah, definitely.
What
Beetlejuice is way more of a horror movie than Ghostbusters.
What the absolute
1000%.
I can't even. So yeah, I just been watching stuff. Did that. Been watching House of the Dragon. It's been great. That's all I've been doing is watching TV. That's the reason why for our living room.
I have not even watched that yet. I think Game of Thrones messed me up so much I don't even want to watch it.
Dude, so good. So good.
What do you mean you thought it messed you up? I thought people love Game of Thrones. What are you talking about?
That last season was horrible.
It's not. It's
bad.
When you rewatch it, you're like, oh, it really wasn't that bad. We were just mad. But it's actually really good and everything pays off the way it's supposed to. So season 8 is really good. We're just mad that we lost all of our characters and what happened.
I don't know about that.
But all of it pays off.
Last of Game of Thrones seasons?
I remember watching it and feeling like I need my 5 years back.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. You're like, fuck that.
Yeah, no.
It's not good.
It was really good. I remember at the end of it, like, I need my 5 years back. I was so pissed at how everything ended. But then this rewatch, we're like, oh.
That's what you would last us to 100%.
I need my 5 years back.
I need my 5 years back.
All 5 years.
That's
Still
exactly
mad.
the
All 5
feeling.
years.
That's
I
exactly
feel
the
like
feeling.
John
I had.
32 is trying to con me. Like you need to
I was
rewatch it
scrolling
the other day.
Reddit the other day.
dude,
And I
I'm
saw a
telling you,
picture.
it's
It was a
rewatch
meme of Squidward, and it was like, what game had gameplay like this? Squidward putting out the lawn chair, like getting excited, and then but story had you like this: Squidward packing up the chair, angry. And I was like, nope, that's a bait. I'm not taking that bait.
That
We're
is
just gonna keep
definitely
on.
bait.
Just gonna keep on scrolling on. Just scroll past it.
Yeah, but it's good stuff. And House of the Dragon is really good. I'm enjoying it very much. So,
What is
I will
House
try
of the
House
Dragon?
of Dragons. It's a prequel.
House of the Dragon is a prequel, so it's about the Targaryens and like their line, their dynasty,
Have, like, the same
hundreds of
characters
years
in it?
before.
Oh,
No,
Okay.
it's
So
like
it's its own thing then.
yeah, it's how everything came to be. So it's when you hear
I
about
guess
a lot
it,
of the
like, brings
lore
it out.
in Game of Thrones, it's based on these Targaryens who had dragons who came into power, and this is that.
I've only been told forever that I would love Game of Thrones, but I don't have the energy to commit to trying it. So I've never done it. It's too intimidating.
I still
Here's-
like
you
the
find
show.
like a Game of Thrones fan, they're like, all right, here's like 10 seasons of television for you to watch, and they're like, but it doesn't get good until season 3, and they're like, but the last season, I'm like, I'll just not watch it. Like I'm just
I
good
wouldn't
then.
say that. I think season
It's
1 is
good.
really good.
It starts off great.
Season 1 is
Oh, I've
really
only
good.
ever heard like the person that I know that loves Game of Thrones. They always told me the first season, they're like, it gets better after the first season. And it's been a
It
big,
progressively just gets better and
been a
better. But
big
season 1 is
fucking, like,
dope.
I'm
Season
good.
1's really good.
I don't know
Yeah.
about
It's
that.
really, really good. Season 1
I would
gives you
say-
a really good feel of what the show was going to be.
I feel like
what to
episode 1
expect.
is slow because they're building a lot of stuff, but it's fantastic. I will probably rewatch it again next year. It's that good.
Nice. And you don't rewatch or replay anything.
This is very true.
Wow.
Very true.
I have
My
show.
wife does that,
I was watching that 70s show today. I mean, I definitely have shows that I rewatch all the time.
I haven't watched that.
I wasn't
in a
really
while.
watching. It was in the background while I was
Which
watching.
is
like,
on. Yeah.
It was just on while I was working. Yeah, I just wanted to listen to it while I was working.
I rewatch a lot of stuff because that's my wife. My wife, she needs comfort stuff, so she always is rewatching stuff. So
Yeah,
that's
my wife and I do that.
why
We
I
usually
end
have
up
like
rewatching
one
things.
show that when we're hanging out together, like we'll rewatch Coach or that 70s show, How I Met Your Mother, The Office, and things like that. They're usually sitcoms, 30-minute things that
Yeah.
we can have to pay much attention to.
My comfort shows are cartoons now. All cartoons.
Yeah, same. I
SpongeBob.
started watching Batman, the animated series from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
That's one
Did
I
you
was
see
the
thinking
new
about
one's
coming
giving
out
it a try
soon?
sometime.
I think
I
that's
did
coming
see
out
that there
tomorrow.
was some new one coming out, but I'm just gonna keep watching Batman the animated series.
How does
I
it
had
hold
no
up?
idea.
It's from the creators of Batman animated series.
How does it hold up? And I'm put your critic hat on. Does it still hold up like fully? You're
Very
good to go?
well.
Yeah,
Very well.
Because I haven't watched it since I was a kid.
it'll
But I
bring
did-
back the nostalgia feeling, and it's
I
still
did
like,
love it
it's
as a
just
kid.
well done.
That cartoon
It's just
was so
really well
damn
done.
good. Yeah, I was like just grapple hold of that when I was a child. To come home after school and I have to watch Batman.
Yeah, it's really. it
I
holds
didn't
up really
realize the Clayface episode was like so early in the series, and that's like one of my favorite like two-parters. I was like, wow,
That's a
this
really
was
good
like
one.
episode 3, like really? But that's like one of my favorite episodes, and I did not realize it was so early on. Same with like Catwoman being in there so early.
Yeah.
So I think she's it's episode 1.
Cat in the
is
Claw?
with Catwoman.
Like episode 4.
That's
yes,
episode
ma'am.
1 and 2.
He's got the episode and the title and everything. Damn.
Because
I
I,
remember
just
this.
started. It's fucking
I-
great.
No, not you,
I-
Delvin. Delvin's a
I
Cat in the
remember
Claw,
this show
episode 4.
very well.
Like Jesus Christ.
I love that show. I have like several. Hold up. I can show how much of a Batman animated series fan I am. I'm grabbing it right now.
You know, he's
Flex
got
on
his
it.
toys. He's got all his
Flex on
toys, his posters. He's gonna bring us some
Sometimes I get
Batman
in
that's
the mood
supposed
I
to
have
talk.
the
Of
Batmobile.
That's pretty
course
killer.
you do.
And I don't think Jack has
It
ever
comes on
watched
and
any of
everything.
this, and I think he would like it.
Pretty cool.
But I don't know if my wife would. But every now and again, I get in the mood for like a cartoon, and I'll watch like an episode of Powerpuff Girls, or catch like some DBZ or something. And I've thought about trying to add this. Is it freely available somewhere? Is it easy to watch?
It's all Max.
Okay,
It's all on Max.
that's easy enough.
That's dope.
Because I sent you guys a link. I watched. I was re-scrolling through like the Dragon Ball Z timeline because somebody on YouTube just made a full cut where they cut like a lot of like the filler and you just get a concentrated dose of storyline for Dragon Ball Z, and they add in like some of their own music and their own cuts, and I was like, this is amazing, actually. Like, I wish I could buy these. This is the perfect cut. This is exactly how I need Dragon Ball Z. There's 2.5 hours of the entire saga injected into your veins.
That's why I watched the Japanese versions, because it doesn't have a lot of the filler they did for the Cartoon Network versions.
Yeah.
See, that's what I need from like the animated series. Like, I'd love to like just give me all of it. But I may give that a go, because every now and again I'll throw on an episode of Pokemon or Rocco or something. I don't do it often. It's like, I got to be in the mood. But every now and again I may try to add that to the rotation.
Yeah,
I prefer cartoons. Yeah,
I think we've established this. You guys watch cartoons all the fucking time.
Rocco, Hey Arnold, Batman animated
Yarden,
series.
I've never watched an episode of Rick and Morty. I don't know anything about that.
Me either. Couldn't tell you a thing about it.
See, Lois knows talking about it. Heart of Ice, Joker's Fist. Yeah,
I'd like to watch
Fantastic
some more
episode.
SpongeBob, because I've seen clips, like I've seen episodes of it, but never that into it like Delvin and Rebecca.
Early
It's crazy.
seasons of SpongeBob are great.
Because Delvin's so old and she's so young. But I feel like I missed it. Like how you feel about a lot of my cartoons, it was like a little after your time. SpongeBob I was just getting out of it, like right when SpongeBob started to catch on.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, the only reason I've even seen any SpongeBob is because I was a camp counselor and all the kids were watching SpongeBob and talking about what the hell is
my
SpongeBob?
kids weren't that into SpongeBob. I think I'd be more into it if my kids were. My kids, like, especially because at the time it was my daughter, so she was way more into like Fairly Odd Parents and stuff. She wasn't that into SpongeBob. I think Jack would have been, though. Jack would have definitely loved SpongeBob.
Dev was Camp Candy. I dig it.
Oh, yeah, I remember Camp Candy. I used to watch that every morning before school.
Yeah. And yes, Captain Awesome. I used to watch the Men in Black cartoon show. It was great.
I never watched that one.
I
really good.
I've watched that one either.
All right, enough of our nonsense. Let's get into all of this wonderful gaming news.
That's another part of it, John 32, not going to lie. That's another reason I'm thinking about it. So we have some news today, most notably, big shakeup over at Bungie, and an announcement shared to us by Pete Parsons. Bungie is shrinking from 1,300 people to around 850, as 220 employees are being laid off. 155 are moving to Sony Interactive Entertainment. 75 of those 155 are forming a new studio, which will continue working on Bungie's third project that's being incubated and spun off into a separate thing. In a letter, Parsons mostly attributes the reduction to rapid expansion during the pandemic. And as he says, they attempted to work on 3 major projects simultaneously. Quote, "We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin, too quickly." Guess what also stretches your talent thin? Firing a chunk of them, like getting rid of 200 of them. That'll stretch your talent really thin.
Really thin.
I was wondering if I was the only one that had that thought when he was like, "We just stretch our talent too thin." And the reason I say this, I thought the same. Like Bethesda said the same thing. It seems to be like a buzzword, like a buzz talking point when you lay people off. Like, we're just stretched too thin. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because you're literally firing people. Like, say we have too many people and not enough work for everybody. Don't say we're stretched too thin. Like, you're stretched too thin and you're firing people? That doesn't make any fucking
You're
sense.
stretching them even thinner.
Right. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Look, I'm not that into Bungie, so I can't say that I'm into all the nitty gritty or fully aware of what this story is. What I will say, there's a lot of things being said on social media about this today from people that have been let go from different media sites. I saw one media site that did like an expose on how many cars Pete Parsons bought last year as like this is why they're firing people because he bought a bunch of cars. That's what that man does with his own money. That has nothing to do with Bungie. And you could say he gets paid too much. Sure, that's fine, but that's not going to hire 220 people. But what I will say is at some point, it would be nice for a company or a corporation to hold the heads of these companies accountable for the reasons they're firing people, because that seems to be the thing that never happens. We're firing 200 people today because we hired you. No, not we. They didn't hire a bunch of people. You are the CEO of the company. You did that shit. So maybe
This is your
you
fault.
should be the one going. Like no, that never seems to happen. And well, I know we bitch about it too much, and nothing ever happens. But that's all the buzz. I didn't want to get into the whole he said she said stuff from the employees, not because I don't believe them or anything like that at all. It's just messy, and I don't know. Like when these things happen, it's not just the Bungie story. It's all these stories. When people let go, they're angry, they're sad, they're emotional, they're tweeting whatever. I don't know how much like you can reliably report on those sorts of things. It's like how much is this real? How much is this in anger? I'm sure at any point if you got somebody on background, a lot of people would say a lot of mean shit about their bosses. Nobody likes their boss. So I think this is more or less the inevitable would be my read on it. This has come true every time we've seen a merger or an acquisition. There are layoffs. There's just redundancy. There's too many things, especially when we come from the COVID boom when money was flowing and now it's not. So I honestly looked at this as they delayed the inevitable. They could have ripped this Band-Aid off 2 years ago and they were like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to lay off people. And then they did anyway. So, I just think this was probably likely going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but the more and more of this that we see, I'm like, this is just kind of the way gaming seems to operate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most places are very top heavy. And if you're not spinning out a game, you're not generating revenue. So it's really hard to be able to keep on people if you don't have something that's constantly bringing in revenue or investors to pay for salaries and things of that nature. And if, you're working on another game and you've been working on that game for who knows how long and your money is drying up and you haven't put out anything to recoup, what are you going to do? So,
Yeah, it sucks that they did put out Final Shape, which is like kind of beloved.
Yeah, it was great.
So that's the only thing that sucks is that they just put out the thing that everybody really liked and got everything buzzing again, and then they laid everybody off.
Yep.
Like you said, it was already coming. It was inevitable. There wasn't any way to really stem this tide. It was bound to happen.
It's just acquisitions. And I'm not saying that as like I'm opposed to acquisitions because I'm not. I'd much rather a studio get acquisition than closed. I'd much rather somebody bought Tango. God, I wish somebody would have bought Tango GameWorks. But with acquisitions, this is a part of it. There are shared roles and shared responsibilities and different heads of management, a different way of doing things.
Yep.
And we heard, I do think it's worth pointing out, we heard about this, not this, but we heard about Bungie last year. I didn't write it down, but I remember, right, they formed like a board and a commission, and they kind of put Bungie on notice. They're like, if this doesn't turn around, if these metrics don't turn around, we will take a more active role in this. And we know how SIE runs their studios.
Layoffs in October last year.
Yeah, they're pretty lean, like Sony Corporation. Like they're pretty lean. Like they're all about make sure you're bringing in more than we're putting out. And if you're not, that's kind of what's happening. So like, I wasn't really surprised at all when I saw this news. I was like, that's probably right.
Yeah.
And it's also evident of just the gaming industry as a whole. We're seeing this across the board for the last couple of years. Everybody is contracting. Everybody is tightening the belt. And it sucks, and we don't want to see it happen, but it is the industry. Like we've seen a lot of folks talk about, like, there are a lot of games right now that aren't selling, that aren't doing well. I know I was looking at a Reddit thread earlier, that Flintlock game that just came out. Apparently it's selling terribly. According to like some Redditor, it seems like they work at the studio, and they're like, we expect wide layoffs soon. Jonathan Blow said his game is selling terribly. Like there is an industry factor here for whatever reason. It could be a lot of things. Probably is a lot of things. Probably a compounding issue of a lot of things. But whatever that reason is, some games are having a hard time finding customers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think what makes it always so hard to swallow from a consumer standpoint or consumer like side, we just see that these games cost a lot of money, and it always seems like they're generating tons of money. But since we're not there and we don't know how much it actually costs to make money and run a studio and all of that, like all we see is like, you made so much money on this game. How are you laying off people? How are people getting fired? How are studios getting closed when gaming seems to generate so much revenue? But we literally, as somebody who doesn't work in the gaming industry, like we don't really know how much these companies are spending on marketing, on game development, on just building costs, like all of the stuff that you have to
Yep.
actually have
HR
to go
costs,
into it.
benefits
Yeah.
costs. There's
have
lots of
no
things
idea.
that don't make it into that financial report.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, they're always going to protect that profit. Like I said, this was like 2 years ago, right? When profit margins started to not yield, I was like, what did we say? They're gonna cut. Like they're gonna protect that margin at all costs.
Yep.
So if they're expecting 14% margin and they get 6, guess what? They're about to cut costs by 7%. Like that's exactly what they're about to do, or if not more, because they're going to protect that margin. So it's just, it comes with it, man. And like it was the boon. And I don't use COVID as an excuse to excuse all of this, because I'm sure there are ways that you could protect against it. But at the end of the day, and gaming isn't the only one, IT, technology, web conferencing, Zoom, Peloton, there is a laundry list of the companies that are going through this exact same thing, because they exploded during COVID. And then they staffed up and built thinking that would be the new norm. And it just wasn't. And it's taken companies 4 or 5 years to figure that out.
Even animal shelters. That's a big thing. People got all these pets during COVID and took them all right back. Right after they ended.
Yeah. So hopefully folks will find a place to land. I'm sure people that work at Bungie will have, the majority of them have resumes and experience that's probably very valuable to other outfits in the industry if they want to stay in the industry. But hearts go out to them. I did see that Bungie at least claimed, I didn't see what it was, but Bungie at least claimed that the folks that were let go today had very healthy severance packages. So that's something. That's not nothing. There are a lot of people that get fired in this country who don't have shit. So that's probably pretty great. Good for them. There was a Grasshopper Direct today. I was actually kind of excited for this. At various times over the past couple of years, Suda has teased a new game that he's working on. I was kind of hoping today we might get to see it. We definitely did not. It was a conversation between him and Shinji Mikami, mostly around Shadows of the Damned Remastered. They talked about where it came from, what they wanted to do with it, and all this stuff. Talked about EA, which is funny because they've done nothing but slander EA since this game came out, and they're still doing that. It's pretty hilarious. The only thing that I think is really of note here, this wasn't in the direct, but Grasshopper did tweet this out. All versions, Shadows of the Damned Remastered, will be at 60, minus the Switch version, which you can just assume the Switch version is at 30. So if you were interested in that, like the Switch version is probably going to play 30 frames a second. And then Suda teased, I think they teased. It's always kind of hard. I don't think any of this stuff, because it's like edited and pre-scripted, I don't think any of this stuff is by chance. But in the video, Shinji Mikami brought up Killer 7 and how much he'd love to see another version of it and how much he loves the game. And Suda was like, I would love to bring Killer 7 back. He said, but if I do, I want it to be the complete edition. So apparently one of the characters in Killer 7 was supposed to have more active role and voice lines and stuff, and they don't in the version that we have now on PC. He also talked about a sequel, which he said they would name maybe Killer 11 or Killer 7 Beyond or something like that. And he even joked, like, what should we do first, a complete collection or a sequel? Who knows? I do know that to bring this game to consoles, I think I think this is pretty well documented. The reason that Killer 7 Remaster isn't on consoles at all is because they need Capcom's permission. And I don't know what they do to get around that. I don't know if Suda can work on a Killer 7 sequel without Capcom's permission. I don't know if they're teasing that maybe they've gotten Capcom's or nothing. I don't know what this means, to be honest with you. But I don't think they would have spent as much time on this if there was nothing going to happen from it. So I'm kind of on the side of they're probably going to try to do something with Killer 7 soon.
Yeah. I read the quote too, and it seemed like he was saying, yeah, we really want to do the complete edition. Like, yeah, the complete edition is we're kind of doing the complete edition. Like,
yeah,
it was kind of felt like that. Like.
But like, then why wouldn't they have put it on consoles already? That PC port has been out for years now. I don't think they're waiting for this to do it. I don't know. Maybe Capcom has had a renewed interest in this. I don't know. Maybe they have negotiations going on. I'll tell you this. Maybe. I'm a huge Suda fan, and I'm probably the least excited. I'm way more interested in what his new game is. It's not that I loved Killer 7 at the time. Back on GameCube, I played Killer 7 and loved it. I thought it was amazing. I'm not so much into that boat now. Like I played the PC version when it came out. I just don't think I have the patience to go back to those sort of control schemes and sort of game and play anymore. You know, a very finite shoot. Like it's very much a game of its time. Like we came out of the 90s, an era where a lot of games like that were being made. We don't really make games like that anymore. I think the industry has evolved past that. So I don't really know. Like personally, my fear would be is that they make Killer 11 and it sells like dog shit. You know, it's like I want them to make maybe something that's more appealing, I guess. And I was kind of hoping whatever his new game was, it'd be something like that. I'm way more excited about Shadows of the Damned remastered than Killer 7 reboot or sequel or whatever the fuck they're doing with it. So, have you ever played Killer 7, Dev? Or Delvin?
No.
Sounds like you have. Have you played Killer 7?
I played it when it was on the GameCube.
Yeah, you didn't play the PC port or the Steam Deck?
I didn't play the PC port. I have it now, but I haven't played it yet.
It's just the controls and everything. They're kind of tough to come back to. The reaction time is. It reminds me a lot of it's like Super Hot, right? Like bind control delete thing that we had.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Okay.
But even that has so much more modern game design in it than. But I mean, I loved it at the time. You know, I'm not going to take anything away from it. I loved it at the time. I still do. It's a big reason why I ever got into pseudos because my cousin Susan, her boyfriend, they loved Killer 7 and stuff like that, and Sunflower Moon and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool. But I'm way more excited for Shadows of the Dam Remastered. So anyway, that was the direct. We got an update on PlayStation Essentials. We're getting Skywalker Saga, Ender Lilies, and Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Those will be your games for August.
Skywalker Saga is good.
Yeah, I have Skywalker Saga. My son has been playing that for the last couple of months. It was
That's
on sale for like $10.
It's a pretty great game.
Yeah.
I really, when it came out, I wanted to try Ender Lilies and just never got enough to actually pop on and do it. And probably because I didn't really want to try it as much as I thought it. Like, it looks cool. It's a game that when I look at it, I'm like, that looks awesome. But like, do I actually want to sit down and play it? Not really. But like, I want to do it, but I don't. You know. So, Dev, can you cover the Xbox financials?
Sure.
Gotta run the bathroom.
Xbox financials. So right now, I guess they released a report. Hardware is down 42%. Content and services are up 61% for the quarter. And CEO Satya Nadella claimed its gaming division now has over 500 million monthly active users. And, quote, he said, Game Pass Ultimate subscribers can now stream games directly on devices they have, including, as of last month, the Amazon Fire TVs. And finally, we are bringing our IP to new audiences. So, looks like Xbox is doing all right.
You know, it kind of feels like what Donnie was saying a while back about them having their own branded Fire Sticks. Mm-hmm. Probably should have been a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would have been a good idea. Like, hey, here's our Xbox branded Fire Stick. Now that you can just do it on a regular Fire Stick now, why not just make your own and charge a little bit more money for it? And make it come with a controller if people are going to start doing it.
I mean, yeah, I would say make a controller bundle. I wouldn't say make it cost more. I would say you want to keep it at the same price so they feel like they're getting a deal. You throw in like 3 months of Game Pass with the deal. That way you feel like you're getting a little something extra, and just keep it at whatever the price of a Fire Stick is and the cost of a controller, just to get people in.
Yeah, they're like $20 in some cases. Depending on which one. I think the really good one was like $40.
Probably. No one probably has like a network port and everything, but yeah, I mean, you do that, and like they said, we're reaching new audiences. You're going to get people who already have a Fire Stick and like, oh, I can play Xbox on this. You get a subscription to the Game Pass, you grab a controller, and you're reaching some of those more casual gamers who didn't even think about getting a console, or somebody who wants to play Madden or something like that. Like, oh, I can just stream that with my Fire Stick and my controller. It's not a bad idea, you know.
Yeah, it's not.
You get the Daniels, the D-Lifes of the world who are into the streaming and stuff.
I changed my mind now. Never mind. I was giving you praise about your idea about them having a Xbox Fire Stick.
I mean, they have
They
one now.
probably
They've got the Amazon one.
They've got a bundle, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I just
like
think I don't
Xbox
think
is
their
doing all right.
streaming isn't good enough to have a platform for it. If it was GeForce, we're there, but it's not GeForce, and that's the problem. So I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should just partner with GeForce or license whatever that is. I don't know. I'm sure you guys read the news. My only thing that I was going to say about the financials is, if you really dig in, the last 2 quarters, the Activision sector has turned a net negative. It's minor, and they haven't shipped a big game, so it's to be expected. But it's something I definitely picked up on. I was like, man, they're still bringing in a shit ton of revenue. They make up the majority of the revenue for Xbox, for Microsoft's gaming business. Like, it's completely bolstered by Activision. It's like, without Activision, people would be talking about Xbox is a disaster right now and they should sell it off or close it down. But it's almost like Microsoft saw this coming, and it's like they hedged their bets with the Activision. You know, it's like, okay, so for our stock folks, if Xbox goes really south, at least we'll have Activision. It'll kind of cover up for it. You know, so pretty smart.
I'm so curious to see what the sales of Black Ops 6 are going to be compared to like Modern Warfare 3. Like, I want to see like,
what does Game Pass actually mean?
Yeah, does the Game Pass, does it drop? Do we see an increase in Game Pass subs? Do we see a huge drop off in people buying like actual sales? Like, how I want to see how it all pans out.
What if like Black Ops 6 only charts at like number 3, you know, for the year or the month or something instead of number 1?
Yeah,
you know, but at the same respect, you go, ooh, but what if in February Xbox is like Game Pass, like gaming services are up 400%?
Exactly.
You know, like,
and
we don't know.
That's what I'm waiting to see. Like, is it going to pay off? Because
if I had to guess,
it's still going to sell on PC.
I had to
it's still going to sell on PS5.
If I had to guess, services will get a minor bump and sales will look the same.
That's what I was thinking.
If I had to guess.
I wonder how many people are going to actually just sub versus buying, or buy the game versus subbing, even though they have an Xbox. Like, that's what I'm really curious about. I know most of my friends are still just going to buy the game, and they are not going to sub the game.
My guy at work, he plays Call of Duty. He has PlayStation 5. He doesn't care it's on Game Pass. He's like, I'm soon just going to buy the game.
Yeah, because it's still cheaper.
There's going to be a ton of people on Xbox that are in the same boat. Not everybody on Xbox has Game Pass. There's a lot of people at Xbox that don't have Game Pass. They just buy the games they want to play. It's hard. You're not going to reverse 50 years of conditioning. You know, there's generations of people that just like to buy the game. You know, that's the reason that we still print discs, because they don't want to buy a digital copy, even though it's the same fucking thing. But in their head,
because there ain't nothing on that disc.
But in their head, there is. In their head, that's how it works. You know, and you just can't change that. That is one of the games I played this past week. I did play the first 2 chapters of Modern Warfare 3 on Series S.
I was going to say, did it work on Series S, or were you on PC?
I definitely got in.
Broken, right?
So I loaded up the game. I got to the launcher. This is where I am with gaming these days, and I feel like an old man shaking my head at the clouds. I feel the same way when I load up Fortnite. I think I've said this before. I don't understand how any of this is working. Like, I don't get it. Like, I see the menu, and I'm like, now I feel old. Like, somebody showed me where the game is. That's how I was with Call of Duty. I loaded up Call of Duty. I was like, where is the campaign? Like, why can't I find it? Because they hit you with like maps and Warzone and DLC and seasons and get into zombies. And like, I had to scroll to find it. And when I did, it was all the way to the right. It wasn't even on the screen. I had to scroll down and then like 5 tiles over. And it was like, play the campaign. I was like, what the fuck, man? But I played it and I was having a grand time. But when I started the campaign, it said, we have to like restart the app. Yeah, just like it did on PC. It was like it closed everything down and turned it all back. I was like, what? If this is how Assassin's Creed Infinite is going to work, I hate where we're going with games. Like, why is this what we're doing now? Please make it stop. Like that. Like, when I started Call of Duty, not obviously I know it's not the same, but the amount of tiles of things and options I had to choose from and that I could see, it was almost like looking at a Wii menu again. I was like, why are there 20 options for me to play Call of Duty? Like, what the fuck? Like, I just want the one. Like, what happened to campaign multiplayer? Like, what happened to the left-hand menu that was like Everything
very
is in
easy
these
split.
5 options you could dive
Mhm.
into. They don't have the dive into it anymore. They throw it all at you, and they're like, figure it out.
Yeah. I really hate that they haven't just allowed it to where you can just install the campaign. Like, I
Yeah.
really wish
I'm
they
with
would
you
just
there.
allow that. Like, if I don't want to deal with all the multiplayer stuff, why do I got to install 250 gigs of stuff?
And I thought when we had these hard drives, they talked about this at the start of the gen, and we could pick and choose what to install. I can't. I
Yeah.
had to install all of Call of Duty.
Nope.
Like, it was just like, here it is.
Mhm.
This is Call of Duty. I was like, but I want just the game. Where's that option? It doesn't exist.
Yeah. I feel like there was an option with Modern Warfare 2 where you could choose what to install first.
Yep.
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 And
I remember
Can I
it.
just can I
That
have that
went
back?
away.
Yeah, and it's so irritating when you boot up the game to start the campaign. Yeah, you got to restart it. Like what did you start up? I want to play the campaign. Like, how about nothing boots up except for the menu that says which one do you want to play, so I
Yeah.
don't have to load into multiplayer. Oh, you're playing campaign. Let me restart.
It's almost
it's
like-
so annoying.
I know they'll never do this because they don't want to split the fan base, but to service their customers better, it's almost like they should create a Call of Duty multiplayer app and a Call of Duty single player app.
Yeah,
And like, here are all the campaigns and everything for single player, and if you want to play multiplayer, it's a whole different app you can load.
That would be
yeah.
great.
But they don't want to do
Please.
that because what they do is they count every time somebody starts one of those apps, and that's what they import to their shareholders. Like, we had 18 billion people play this month. Like, that's how they do that, because they get everybody to click on the same app.
So annoying.
It's just like bullshit, like website analytics, like 101.
Mhm.
It's like that whole, when you go to a website and they're like, accept our cookies or whatever, that's another click. They're like just doubling
Yeah.
the traffic. They're like, we had 18 million people show up. It's like, no, you had 2 million people. You just made them click 12 times. Like,
Yes.
so yeah, I think that's all that is. But I did enjoy it. And I was actually surprised at how well Modern Warfare 3 ran on Series S.
Nice.
It looked really good. This one I just added to the notes. Are we on the next story? Did you get
Yeah,
this far?
I'm just looking at that. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I added this right when we're about to go live. I just scrolled across this. I thought you'd like it. NZXT has announced the NZXT Flex, a gaming PC subscription service that offers players modern gaming machines for one monthly rate. So it has 3 plans depending on what you want to pay for the specs. The cheapest plan starts at $60 a month, and you get a Core i5 CPU and an NVIDIA RTX 4060. For $119 a month or $120 a month, you get a Ryzen 5 5600 and an RTX 4070. And for $170 a month, you get an i7 13th gen and RTX 4070 Super. NZXT says you can cancel at any time with the ability to return or upgrade your PC. They also guarantee upgrades every 2 years for subscribers. There's no upfront costs, nor is there any cancellation or replacement fees. What do you think of the idea of subscribing for a gaming PC?
It's very interesting. Do I get to pay this off eventually? Because that's my one. Like, how
Is it
much?
like
How long does
rental
it take
only?
me?
Or could you?
Yeah,
like,
how
keep
long
it?
does it take me to pay it off?
That's interesting.
That's
I
a
didn't
good
even think
question.
that wasn't in the news story. I assume it's a subscription model. And like, there is no ownership.
And
You're
that's what I don't like. I'd rather like $170 a month is a lot of money.
That is.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
think
lot
about
of
if you're
money.
looking at a $2,000 gaming PC.
And that's my thing. Like,
That's the point.
can I pay that off eventually? Am I just going to
Yeah.
be paying $170 for forever? How much support does that come with? Because if I don't know anything about PC gaming, like, do I have the support to go with that to help me make sure everything is running right? Like, I have questions.
So like,
I like the idea of the
$170 a
no
month.
upfront costs.
that would be roughly a $2,000 a year gaming PC. So like, instead of paying $2,000 up front or putting on a credit card, you could just rent it for a year. But the difference, I don't know if you can own it. I don't know that. Honestly, I kind of feel like, I assume there's an ownership. There's an ownership.
Gotta be.
There's got to be, right? Because they don't want to like make you return it, and I imagine most people won't return it. So there's got to be a point where you can't own it. Ownership, you can't own it. But at $2,000 a year for the highest tier, if you're guaranteed an upgrade every 2 years to like keep up with that hardware cost, that kind of almost, you're still probably paying a premium. But if you're like, I don't want to be bothered to upgrade every 4 years, every 3 or 4 years, there is kind of like, there's something nice to like set it and forget it. Like I pay $170 a month and I am good. I'm taken care of. I'll never be that far behind.
The thing with the 2 years, I would have done, because 2 years and upgrading the PC, you're not really getting a huge benefit. It's just not that different.
I'm with you.
I would rather like 3 or 4 years maybe when there's
this
something
is more
that's
like
really different.
This is more like the Rent-A-Center kind of predatory loan type stuff. I'm with you. I'm not advocating for it, but it's not all that different from what Yarden says. He says, if you're going to do this, just finance a PC. Some people don't have credit and can't do that. But this isn't all that far from what I've done with my PC. So my PC, I bought at Dell. I bought a pre-built at Dell. Dell has a trade-in program. So I bought my first one. I had it for a couple years, and then I traded it on another one. And I got like a $1,500 credit towards another one. And if I ever decide to upgrade from this one, I plan on trying to do the same thing unless they take away that trade-in program. But if it's open, like I'll do the same thing. I'll send it back to Dell and get another one. That worked out really well for me. So I would advise you to do that instead. Also, I mean, what does the 4070 Ti cost? Like I know the 4060 isn't all that grand. You know, the 4060 is not all that much. I wouldn't be going out of your way to do a 4060. But I mean, the 4060 is also only 60. At the lower end, I think it actually starts to make a little bit more sense. Yeah. It's $60 a month. That's a game a month. That's pretty sweet.
The 4070 Ti is like $800.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My other question is: does it come with a monitor? Do I gotta buy my own monitor?
No, it's just the tower. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a whole other. I don't know, man. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like John 32 points out leasing a car. It's kind of like that. You're leasing a computer.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're guaranteeing that you don't have to keep up with the race, right? Like you're paying for that peace of mind that you don't have to keep up with the latest and next best thing. Like you're going to get that card eventually. You're going to get that upgrade, that CPU boost. You just upgrade to the next model. But you're still going to have to. You're still going to have to like. I wonder. I guarantee you, they're not going to do any like file transfer or anything for you. It's not like you send it in and they copy all your stuff to the new PC and send it back.
That was going to be my question. Like, how do they do the upgrades? Because I mean, honestly,
they're going to send you
really
a new
easy.
one. You copy whatever you want and send the old one back. I bet.
No, hell no, because then they could lose 2 PCs.
Yeah, but
like, I don't see them doing that.
I wonder if they have to. I wonder if you have to pass like a certain credit check or something for this.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine what you do if in the upgrade cost, you send the old one back and they send you a new one. And quite honestly, if I'm doing that, I'm just popping the hard drive out and popping it into the new one.
If you're interested in this, here's what I would sell you on. Be in a place that has really good internet. Buy an awesome OLED monitor, 144 hertz, and just subscribe to GeForce Now. You're doing the same thing at a much lower cost. You are subscribing to computer hardware. Just do that. $20 a month, and you can play on the best rig the internet can deliver to you. With all the ray tracing, everything you want. Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Like I would do that. If I was to the point where I couldn't afford a PC, but I wanted to lease a PC, I would tell you to just go GeForce Now. Just get GeForce Now. You can get that on like a mini PC. You can probably run that damn thing on almost anything, but I would get something pretty decent, put GeForce Now on it, and call it a day. And just put it on a really awesome monitor. If you pair GeForce Now with a hardwire connection and a really awesome monitor, you'll have a pretty great experience for $20 a month. Kind of hard to beat.
Yep. So just reading through some of the terms of this. The term of the subscription shall commence on the date the subscriber places a subscription order and continues in perpetuity until terminated. So there's no ownership.
It's just a rental.
And it is very much like leasing a car. You have to keep this thing in great condition. So, yeah, no. If you really buy a PC, if you want to do that, just build or buy your own.
Especially because on the lower end, you can get a hell of a lot of PC for like $500 these days.
Mm-hmm.
Like AMD has come so far. We have we can do so much with integrated graphics, like plus streaming, that you can get yourself an awesome mini PC for like $400 or $500 that you can run a lot of like local games and stream beefy games. You know, I watch a lot of YouTubers that do that stuff. Remember that mini PC I sent you, Delvin, that had like that retro style and it looked like an Atari and shit?
I remember that, the cool one. Yeah.
You can just plug that into a PC monitor. You can play Hades and Fortnite, and you can play all that shit on that natively, and then you could just stream, you know, whatever big grand God of War, whatever you want to play, and you just stream it, you know, or run it at like really low settings like a Steam Deck. You just run it at 720p, you know, 30 frames a second. You can do that for like $400. You don't have to spend $2,000 to have an awesome gaming PC, is the point I'm really trying to say.
Yep. Especially if you don't want RGB or lights or any of that. Like
don't
that,
want ray tracing.
There's a lot of cosmetic costs
Yep.
in PCs that you can cut down and actually have a fantastic gaming rig, especially if you're not trying to game at 4K for $1,200. You know?
Yep. If you don't want 4K, you don't want ray tracing, you don't want DLSS, you can save a shit ton of money. Like if you're happy to play at 1080p, you can buy so much computer for a couple $100. So, you know, or a Series S, you know, at that point, or, you know, or console. So,
yeah, it looks like there's no real warranty or support with this thing either. Services and device rentals are provided as is.
I wonder, you know, all the rage right now is that the Pro is going to come out, which I definitely think is going to. And then we're not that far away from next consoles. Like the PlayStation 5, just the standard PlayStation 5 and the Series X for that matter. These consoles are such a great value if they would just cut the price a little.
Yeah.
You know, if like we could get to the day where you can get like a PS5 for $299 or $250, that's such a great deal for so many people. It checks so many of most people's boxes. Like, yeah, not every game's gonna be at 60, but a lot of them will be, and you'll get some 4K and you'll get some ray tracing. Like it does a lot of things, you know.
It really does.
The prices are so high and they've stayed so high. Like if we could just get to a point where they could either move on, flip the script, or maybe keep selling them, or just drop a little, just cut from $499 to $299, and we were in business. And the Series X is a great console.
A lot to drop. Yeah.
For Series X is really what comes to mind because they're pretty attainable for around $300-ish. Like if you shop hard, if you're willing to buy used, you can get a Series X for like $350. And that's a lot of console. That's a lot of gaming for that amount of money.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you compare it to like an Ally X or a Steam Deck. You know, it's so much cheaper and you're getting so much more performance.
1,000%.
At that point, if you're starting to look at something like this, you start looking at something like that. It's like, man, just get a PlayStation. You know, like just, you know, you'll get so much more bang for your buck. I'd rather you lease a PS5 than lease a computer.
Yeah. It looks cute. It looks fun. And like, oh, yeah, PC gaming. Because, again, people think of how expensive PC gaming is. You see this little monthly cost, and you can have the PC gaming rig of your dreams or whatnot. But when you really look into it, it's not great. Buy a
the rent center thing. Get a whole living room for $25 a month. You don't realize you'd be paying that for like 8 years. It'd be like an $8,000 living room. Cost them $800 to sell you. You know, it's the whole thing.
Yep. And it's now really out of date and old and busted. And
I don't know if PlayStation does this, but I know Xbox does. They have that like no interest plan that you can get an Xbox for monthly payments that you pay zero interest on.
Yeah, I don't think PlayStation has anything like that.
No,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway, headlines: Astrobot's getting a limited edition DualSense controller. Pre-orders begin on the 9th.
You buying that, Delvin?
Looks cool, but now they done. I don't know who said it. I don't remember who said it, but somebody was talking about the eyes look like they should do something. So now that's all I think about now.
Like you want it to be a screen or something instead of just the paint.
Yeah, like the eye should like
if it could
blink.
Yeah,
like a emote or something like that. So somebody like, oh, that eye should do something. Like,
I'm glad that they're doing it, but I'm not that into the controller myself.
I like it.
It's a lot of white. It's like there's not enough color pop. Like I wish they had done something more with the buttons or something. You know?
Yeah, I've been saying
That's my
it's a lot
take.
of white all this year.
It's just like a stencil. Funny. Like they've got the blue pads on the side. Like I think they would have got me if they had also done like faceplates. Like if I had done the whole system in Astrobot, I might be interested. But just the controller, after I spent all the money to do like the retro PlayStation 5 that I did, I can't just.
There might still be time for some faceplates to come out.
Maybe. I think if they were going to, they would have announced it with the controller. I think they would have done both at the same time.
I like how it looks. It looks pretty cool.
I'm not hating how it looks. I just, for my aesthetic, it's a little too like monochrome, right? Like the buttons are just, the icons are colored. It's just like the outlines. It's like a stencil. Like the controller is essentially white with like a color accents of blue that are very thin.
It is.
I would have liked a little bit more stuff. For whatever it means. I like the Concord controller like a hell of a lot more. I'm like, that's a controller. The Concord controller had me thinking of buying. I was like, maybe I should get into Concord. That shit looks dope.
It does look cool. I can tell you a funny story about that today. My son comes to me like, how the heck does Concord get a controller but Astrobot doesn't? I'm like, son, Astrobot has a controller. Here's the picture of it. He's like, really? Like, yes, it's one.
The Concord controller I thought was really good. That was the one I was like, yo, that's pretty.
It looks cool.
That's good stuff. That's a good controller. And like, I'm not against the Astrobot controller is very Astrobot. Don't get me wrong. I just, like I have a weird, very personal take on it, like aesthetic, and that one is not particularly working for me. I would have done something different with an Astrobot controller, personally. That's all. Playground Games, the studio that does Forza Horizon, is doing Fable. They've opened up a third studio, according to their website, and they're hiring for a new studio. They're all based in the UK, so they're all based next to each other.
Run thin. Good call, Delvin.
This probably isn't all that surprising, considering that I assume they're co-developing Horizon. I think there's a lot of people out there that think they're not working on Horizon because they're working on Fable. I don't think that is all the case. I think they're working on both. And I imagine a third studio I don't think is probably doing a third project. I think it's probably doing support work for either one of those projects.
Yeah. Or both.
Or both. So I'm not all that surprised to see that. Rest in peace to the Xbox 360 storefront. It has officially been closed down. Any 360 games that were not backwards compatible have been shut off. You can no longer buy them on the Xbox 360.
R.I.P.
Yep.
Peace.
50 cent blood in the sand. Gone forever.
Actually, one of my coworkers that sends in questions, Joe, he had actually asked us about our favorite 360 memories, and I don't think I put it in here. Now that I read the story and now remember, he asked me a couple days ago, and I just forgot about it. Do you have any 360 memories? Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean
the Red Ring of Death.
Oh, good call. Definitely the Red Ring of Death. That damn solder was a motherboard, right? The solder was all that.
I remember that very well.
I think it was a solder and a washer.
Yeah.
Yes, because I bought many 360s and did the towel trick.
How many did you buy?
I want to say 6.
Wow. I only had this issue twice. And the reason I asked you is I know over the years of having done this with PSVG, Seth has an abnormal amount. I don't remember what it is, but I want to say it's like crazy. It's like 9 or 10 or something.
Yeah, I think it was
Seth
6.
talks about having so many 360s.
I had a lot.
I had 2 that had the Red Ring of Death issue. And I sent one in and had it repaired, and the other one was out of warranty.
I just kept taking them back to GameStop.
Forgive me. That's exactly right. One of them, I was sent it into Xbox, and they sent me a new one. The other one, I bought the extended warranty from GameStop, and I just took it in and got another one.
That's what I kept ending up doing.
So it didn't bother me a whole lot. I wasn't all that affected.
Yeah.
Especially with the hard drive, which was awesome at the time. You could literally just pop that bitch off and put it on another one and keep going.
360 has some really good games.
Well, I mean, as we've chronicled here at PSVG, for me, in hindsight, what I realized so much is that my 360 was really like my foray into PC gaming. I didn't really know that at the time, because my 360 was just my Xbox, but it really is where I found a lot of the PC gaming space. It's where I found a lot of indie games. It's where I found Xbox Live Arcade. It's where I found multiplayer. It's where I found a lot of Bethesda games. It's where I found Doom. It's where I found a lot of what I consider to be like PC games. Was really what I got from my Xbox, where I played the Orange Box, where I played Left 4 Dead, where I played Gears of War. So
Left 4 Dead, that was great on it. 360.
yeah,
Orange
yeah.
Box, yeah. Ooh,
it's so crazy that like I had this console for a decade or more, and so much of it is third party, like something I could have played anywhere else, but I played it on Xbox at the time in 2006 and 7 and 8, where my headspace was. Those weren't multiplayer games; they were Xbox games. Like that's where I played NCAA. It's where I played Madden. It's where I played Call of Duty. That's where I did all of that. And then I had my Wii to play Nintendo stuff. Like I had my game console, and then I had my Nintendo system. And I've kind of operated like that ever since. That whatever the game system is has rotated, but I've always had like a games machine and a Nintendo. And the Xbox was kind of the start of that for me.
I did not have
Very
a 360. So that's why the Red Ring of Death is my favorite thing about it, because fuck Xbox.
Jesus. So
PS3.
evil.
That's PS3 diehard. That was my console of choice.
But I like the PS3, but just because you like the PS3 doesn't mean you have to hate the Xbox.
Oh no,
like,
there was a whole
both.
No, there was no.
I liked them both. I liked them both for different reasons.
I was working at Best Buy at the time, and you had the Xbox people and you had the PlayStation people. There was
console wars are deep,
there was no getting along. Yeah. There was there was none of that. It was you were one,
lots of Q's and catlets. Fucking this war 1000%. Will never end.
1000%. So fuck you, Xbox. I'm glad your store is dead.
So when I got my PlayStation 3, it was for Metal Gear Solid 4, but it's also like when I think of PS3 in my head, the memories of PS3 are Journey, Flower, The Last of Us, Mod Nation Racers. Like it's not what people that infamous for me, but like it's not Uncharted and like what most people Killzone or Resistance. That's not what I think of when I think PS3. It's usually a lot of indie shit.
Most of those games you listed, I didn't even play.
Yeah, I think you're in line with a lot of PS3 gamers. That's why a lot of people didn't like them PS4 and PS5 as much, because they like all the indie games that were so great on there were just gone. They're like, fuck it, we got what we wanted out of it. Not here anymore.
That's me. I signed up day one for PlayStation 4, and when I kind of saw the trajectory they're going, I was like,
you mean the Indie Station 4 was not for you?
Yeah, kind of not.
They were like, nah, we're not backing them indies no more. They're like, hey.
Yeah,
but like, they were in the very beginning. It was a ton of indies.
They were at the beginning. I was all in.
Indie Station 4.
I was all in for like the first 2 years.
Yeah, then they were like, nah, son.
And they were like, we're done with this.
Like, now we have real games. We have Horizon. We have
real games. Oh, my God.
But I love that.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
I also love the Xbox 360 was an amazing console.
I even love the fact that like how the weird ways people try to figure out to get around the Red Wings of Death, like the towel trick, and people like
yeah,
all these things that you have to find out in the game. Like, hey, try this.
I had a friend that could fix it. He could solder it. He would also mod. I had a modded 360 for a while until it got banned. Not sure if you guys ever dabbled into any of that.
Not in the 360.
Yeah, I definitely did that. Coming out of the Dreamcast, I was all about some modded shit. I was like, let's get some free games.
I had a modded PS1. That's when burning CDs was all the rage.
Yeah, I think I played Battlefield modded, like Battlefield Bad Company and shit modded on 360. But that console did get banned, and I had to buy a new one. I'll never forget bringing my Xbox 360 home for the first time. I was a day one on 360, and I don't remember if it was day one, but my lasting memory of the time, because I remember Melissa was pregnant with Victoria. I was living in my in-laws' basement, and I remember playing NCAA, and I want to say it was NCAA 06, and my mind being fucking blown by how good that game looked at the time. I was like, oh my God, you can see reflections on the players' helmets. Do you see this shit? Like, I was like showing my wife, I was like, do you see this? That visual fidelity blew my damn mind at the time. Like, this is because you got to remember, I was going from like GameCube and Wii Sports to that. I was like, holy shit.
You just reminded me. I think it was NBA Live where they was talking about the sweat on the players.
That sounds
That was
right.
like a big deal.
Yeah. But yeah, for the 360, man, Geometry Wars, Castle Crashers, Braid. I love the indie arcade stuff. I love digital games. I bought it in early on that. I never really understood everybody. You remember back then? Everybody was like, never buy digital, man. Fuck this, like hold the line. You know, like
I
people
remember.
hated the idea of just downloading a video game. And I'll never forget that stuff. Like I still have a lot of that stuff like in my libraries. I'll see it from time to time scroll. You remember like those old indie games you get like tanks and shit? They would just give away for free. I remember I had like 3-on-3 NHL hockey. Like just like these old little like indie. I love that shit. I was like, this is great. Give me as many of these $8 games as possible. Like
freestyles. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like I love that stuff. And the last thing I'll say about the Xbox is like what an experience the 360 was from start to finish. To go from like the blades to all the different like iterations to like the Metro, having that console for so long, like that, those consoles, both of them, were like 2.5 generations from start to finish.
I missed.
You know, they were, and they evolved so far. Like the original 360 is really nothing like the last model 360. Remember, like they kept having revisions and they kept getting cheaper and smaller and better and more refined. You know, like there were so many models, so many different SKUs. It's not something we really have today. Like it's just like you just have this one or you don't. Like this one has a disc or it doesn't. You know, back then there was like the E and the S and the F and the G. So all these fucking different kinds of models. Like I remember hitting Craigslist hard, like trying to trade things and trying to trade controllers and hard. Like, what kind of hard drive do you have? Which model is it? You know, that stuff was wild back then.
Yeah,
good times.
Yeah, it was honestly. I'm sure you guys probably wouldn't feel this way because you probably feel the same way about when you were little. But like for me, that time, the 360, the Wii, and the PS3, that's like the golden era of video games for me. In my mind, like I don't think it's gotten better since then. And I almost miss it because it just felt like, especially in that one, there was like a brief moment in time. I want to say like maybe like 2008 to 2010, where it felt like all three of those fucking companies were nailing it. Like they were all hitting. Like even the Wii, as underpowered as it was, as many jokes as people got for grandma, that shit was fire though. It was a lot of fun. It had experiences that you couldn't help but not, like you had to play them. You know? And it felt like everybody was landing at that time. And I don't think we've been there since. You know, we haven't been there since. At some point, the 360 and the PS3 just aged better than the Wii. Like they pulled away. And then we had the new console, and it hasn't been the same since then.
I love the PS3. PS3 is such a great console.
Yeah.
You can just literally just take out the whole hard drive, put a whole new hard drive in there. Put a 4 terabyte in there. Just put whatever games and movies you. Oh, I fucked mine up. I put a whole bunch of shit out. All kind of movies on there.
I didn't get a PS3 probably until way later though. So a lot of like when I say I bought it for Metal Gear, it wasn't like when Metal Gear came out. That's why I bought it. I bought it to do that, but I don't think I got a PS3 until like maybe like 2010 or something like that. I don't remember all the dates. I don't think I got it until after the outage. If that dates it at all. I think it was after the outage. I remember
I
they
didn't
had
get mine at launch either.
Maybe somebody remembers this, or maybe I'm just talking on my ass. I think they had a slim model deal for like 160 at one point. And I think that's when I was like, I'm in. And like I got like Uncharted for free, and I bought like Metal Gear and a bunch of cheap shit. But the reason that I bought it was for The Last of Us. I saw The Last of Us E3, and I was like, I have to play this game. And I think I got like a year or two, but I got it shortly after it was shown for the first time. And I want to say it was maybe 2 years before it came out. I had it a little bit before the game actually came out.
I got it launch year. I didn't get it launch month.
Same. I was working at Best Buy.
You guys were there.
They
for
wouldn't
a long
let us.
time.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us buy it because they were so hard to get. They wouldn't let employees purchase them. And my wife got it for me. We were still in college, and you know, you get that loan check. We were going to Outback Steakhouse.
Books and board.
For dinner. And she was like, she's like, Poop, can you go get my sweater out the trunk for me, please? In the trunk, there's a PS3 and Madden.
Oh,
so I was very, very happy. Yeah, she loves me. And it was like the regular, like the 60 gig fat model, which I still have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has like all the ports and all the extra like media slots that were just so unnecessary.
Backwards compatible.
Yeah, that one is still backwards
Yeah.
compatible. I still
I
have
never
the
had one.
Blu-ray drive.
I only ever had the
died in it.
slim with the mat, which I liked because the pianos, not only were they gigantic, but they scratched all hell and back.
Yeah,
You don't take care of it, sure.
That's, even if you do take care, if you clean it, it's scratched.
If
You rub it with a microfiber towel, it's scratched. The damn thing
Mine's
just
good.
swirls hard as fuck.
Mine's still
Send me a
glorious.
picture. I'm willing to
will.
take this bet.
I will. It's
You
something
send me a
classic.
picture. I want a light directly over it because I guarantee you
Will
there's
do.
swirls in it.
Will do. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
No.
But yeah, the Blu-ray drive
Yeah.
died in that one, and that's when I
Yeah.
got the Slim. And they both have, I think, 500 gig hard drives in them. So
Blu-ray,
I still
so-
use my PS3 for Rock Band.
I completely
Did you
forgot
change
about
the
Blu-rays.
Blu-ray drive?
Netflix was a big reason why I decided to get the PS3. Was renting DVDs and eventually Blu-ray. When you could get Blu-rays, it's like I should get a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what else? This is kind of date the hell out of me. It feels so long ago. It really wasn't that long ago. Like 15 years ago, wasn't that long. I bought one of those gigantic TVs that we used to have at the time. Like the big, like back project, like the big ones. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like two people would
The
carry
rear
them.
projector ones, yeah.
Yeah, the rear projector. I got a rear projection HD TV around the time I got a PS3. I think it was probably 2009, 2010 on Craigslist. I'll never for like $100. I probably have pictures of the TV. It was like 5 feet tall off the ground, and it was my first HD. It was my first TV with an HDMI port. Up to that point, I had only done component cables on. Like I had
Wow.
quote unquote HD TVs. I had 720 TVs. It was like my first 1080 TV.
Okay.
I'll never forget when we got cable and I hooked cable up to it. My father and I like watched NFL on it, and you could see like the flake in it, like a silver helmet. You could see the flake in it, which we never saw before. I was like, holy shit, this TV is amazing. Which I think even at that time, the TV was like some years behind. But again, that's what I had. You know,
Boy, do we take that stuff for granted now.
yeah, I know, right?
I remember I stopped playing my PlayStation because I didn't have an HD TV, and I couldn't. Like I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4,
4
and
cousin.
I could not. Yeah, I could not read the phone because it was so small on this TV. It didn't work.
Yep.
So I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I like retired my PlayStation until I got an HD TV, which I still have to this day and still works. It's the TV in my bedroom. It's a 42
Was it like
inch
a flat panel?
Sony. Huh?
Was it a
what?
flat panel?
Yeah, 42 inch LCD 1080p TV, and I got it like for $200 because we had some ridiculous deal at Best Buy. It was like $1,000 TV, and we got it for $200, and it got delivered like right before Christmas, the year that I think Metal Gear came out, because that was also a game where I was trying to play and couldn't play it on the
So you're
tube TV. I
several
was like,
years ahead of me.
I can't do this. So
I
yeah,
love
got
that
my-
TV. I mean, funny. That TV was. I moved that TV a half dozen times. It was heavy as fuck, and it sounds crazy and ludicrous today that you have a TV like that. But at the time, I absolutely loved that TV. It was a fixture in my living room. It was like 60 inches. It's like the biggest TV I'd ever had, and like it was like furniture. Like back then, we had TVs that were furniture. Like it wasn't a panel. Like I could sit stuff on it. Like we had frames that sat on top of the television. You know?
My granddad still has one of those TVs that he has another TV on top of it. Like he has that TV, and then he has a flat screen on top of it. Like, what are you doing?
That's
Just
why
get rid of
I,
that TV.
I'm not sure. I definitely know that you guys don't know this, but like, did you know that the Wii had component cables?
I know that.
Yeah,
I bought a set of component cables because I got that TV, and I was like, I gotta upgrade the Wii. I can go from like to 480i. You know, like I gotta do it better. Like we get a
I had
sharper,
my Wii set up like that.
sharper Wii Sports. You know, I was like, this. Is
I had
the
all
shit.
of my stuff with component cables until I got that TV. Because I mean, working at Best Buy, like, oh, this we can do better.
That's true. See, I didn't work at Best Buy. I definitely didn't, and I didn't have money back then. You know, like I just got out of high school. I definitely didn't have like money to spend on not like I do now, or not like I did even 10 years ago. Like I said, I bought that TV. I want to say it was $100 on Craigslist. I remember the guy I bought it from. He was well off. He had a very nice house with a pool and everything. He was in his basement. He was just replacing with a flat panel. He just wanted somebody to come get the TV out of his house. Like he just didn't want to move it. See, I had a truck. Me and my buddy went over to the truck. I don't know what I paid for. I may have paid $50 or $80 for it, but I got it for basically nothing. Just to like get it. Like just come get it. Just you come pick it up and move it, and you can have it.
That.
and I loved it. I loved it for many years until I eventually caught up to the rest of the world.
Deals with Donnie.
Yeah, but that was my first HDMI cable, and like the Netflix. That's when I started. That's when the PS3 thing started to kick in. I was like, I get Netflix, got a Blu-ray player, got HDMI cable, play Metal Gear Solid 4. There's that new Last of Us game that's coming out. That's when I started to pick up, and that's when that snowball started to happen.
Flipping Netflix. God.
It's so funny.
Renting DVDs.
They would never understand how much like something like Netflix could have played into a factor of picking on a company. But back then, it was actually a big deal. Like, it was a huge deal. If like
it took forever for it to come to the Wii, right?
Exactly. I had the Wii disc for Netflix, but like having the Netflix app early on, it was like on gaming devices first. That was a lot of people's foray into streaming apps was a gaming console. We didn't have TVs with apps. We didn't have Fire Sticks. We didn't have Apple TVs. There was none of that shit. It was like if you needed a console. There weren't really. I'm sure there probably was a Blu-ray player that had an app, maybe, but I honestly doubt that probably came out. That was probably years after consoles. Like consoles was kind of the delivery system for that early on. And as I've always told you guys, I've been a cord cutter since day one. I never had cable. So for me, like having something that could play Netflix was like a priority. Like I was like, I gotta have it. That's the only way to watch TV, So, and the ESPN app and things like that. All the apps.
Oh man,
it was a big deal back then.
Oh, the apps.
All the apps.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, 360. I wasn't too upset about the 360 storefront closing down because the main reason, the majority of that stuff is playable somewhere.
Yes.
Most every notable 360 game is on your Switch. If it's not, it's definitely on your PC, if not backwards compatible. Like the forward compatibility of the majority of that stuff is very present. And people talk about, there are exceptions to that, like there's like Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey and stuff like that, but the majority of stuff is kind of ubiquitous. So you can play most of that stuff somewhere.
Pretty much.
Xbox announced a new controller. It's transparent. It's blue. They're calling it the Sky Cipher. You can buy another controller from Xbox. Like,
another one.
God, they've got like 400 controllers.
Yeah.
SAG-AFTRA is going on strike for video game voiceover people. They're going on strike over AI issues. And Fran Drescher, famously from The Nanny, who is the SAG union chair, I guess, she said,
Yes,
we're not going to consent to a contract that allows companies to abuse AI to the detriment of our members. Enough is enough. So we saw a voice actor strike a few years ago that seemed to delay a few projects. So depending how long this lasts, just know that some projects may be delayed.
Except for GTA 6. It's in anybody who's a voice actor for GTA 6. It's in their contract that they cannot go on strike for that game. It's something weird in their contract where this does not apply to them.
Oh, that's funny. Correct. That's smart of them. I didn't know that. I was going to say, I don't think it probably won't affect a lot of the games that you know about that you're expecting soon. A lot of the things that have been announced are probably done. Those have probably been cut. It's probably games you either don't know about or that you know about that are fairly long off. This will probably be a couple years from now. You'd see the impacts of this. But who knows how long this strike might last, like 3 weeks, and it's not a big deal. Who knows? Nobody knows what this actually means. I don't think yet, right? We don't really have an idea of what they're asking for a whole lot. This just kind of just happened. Mm-hmm. So in rumors, this has been partially confirmed because some of the games have already been confirmed, but it looks like next month on Game Pass, you're going to get Mafia Definitive Edition, one of my favorite remasters of all time. I absolutely adore that game. The Crash Trilogy, Wargroove 2, and a bunch more. There's rumors of Tony Hawk and stuff. Looks like some Activision titles are going to show up, so August might be a pretty awesome month for Game Pass. This is more juicy. It appears that a Legacy of Kain Remastered collection is happening. A statue is on display at San Diego Comic-Con for a Legacy of Kain. And on the nameplate in the glass case read, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered. That's interesting because that doesn't exist. Like that's not a thing. So the people that were there at Comic-Con started taking pictures. They're going on Twitter, and the Dark Horse Comics vice president was pressed on the issue, and he stated that the statue releases in August, and quote, more information will be released sooner or later. So it looks like the cat's out of the bag. We're going to get a Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver collection. Have you guys played this game? This is kind of a beloved cult classic.
I've heard nothing but amazing things, but I never
PlayStation game. Yeah, PlayStation Dreamcast, right?
Mm-hmm. I remember it. I remember it being really popular.
I know this game. I've definitely not played it to completion, but I know this game for one reason. Can you guess what it is? This was on my PlayStation demo disc. It's the only reason I know. I played the demo of this like 1,000 times.
I can see the cover in my brain.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know the game is because I had the demo disc. That's the only reason I know it. But I remember it's like an action adventure game. A lot of people trace like God of War or Souls back to that sort of thing. It'd be interesting to see what they do with a remaster. Like, how do they bring it up to modern times? Is it like a one-for-one remake, or is it like kind of a reimagining? I'd love to know. But it looks like that's coming down the pike. So get excited.
Yeah.
And with that, Dev, that's the news.
Woohoo! Well, the Rude Days has failed us. He hasn't given us any updates, no scoring, no question. Rude Days, get your life together. All right? It's not the same without you. You know? Give us our stuff. Give us what we ask for. All right?
You failed the city.
Failed us. All right, so questions. Geek to Me Radio says, what video game took you the longest to beat?
Tears of the Kingdom, I guess.
That's a good one.
That was 150 hours, I want to say.
That's pretty long.
Pretty good.
Because I finished Mass Effect like several times. I just played Mass Effect a lot. I beat it.
I was going to ask, what does it mean by, how would you define the longest? Like the longest play time or the longest time? Because...
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't even think about that till you said it.
The thing that came to mind for me, the thing that always comes to mind is Valhalla. I played Valhalla for like 160 or 70 hours before I beat it. It doesn't take you that long to beat it. It's just how long it took me to beat it because I was doing all kinds of stuff in that game.
Yeah.
It also took me like 2 years to do it, to put that kind of time into the game because I kept like picking it up, putting it down, picking it up, putting it back down. But the game that comes to mind for me is Mario 3. I beat it as a kid a bunch, but I always beat it with like warp whistles and shit, so I never felt like that was fair. So I had played this game for like 2 decades, and then when it came out on 3DS, I was like, I'm going to sit down and beat every level of Super Mario 3 for the first time. And that was the first time that I went through that entire game completely from start to finish. Every level, every bonus level, I beat every level of Super Mario 3. So I'd played that game for like 25 years before that actually happened.
I like that answer. That's a really good answer.
I'm going to go with Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because there were so many times where I'd play it, I'd pick it up, I'd drop it. I'd pick it up, I'd drop it. It just took me
GTA
forever to finally actually complete that game. Like, I just would play it for a while, and that's one of those games where I just get completely sidetracked doing nonsense and then just put it down and don't pick it up for a while. So it took me a long time to beat Grand Theft Auto 4.
I'm 100% in the same boat with GTA 5.
I still haven't beat GTA 5.
I started GTA 5 on 360, and then I moved to PS4, and then I picked up the remaster and I started over. And then I think I moved back to Xbox One and I picked it up there and I started over. And then I got like a new console and then I started over GTA 5 probably no less than 7 times. I played the game for like 8 years before I played it for so long.
That's their fault. Stop re-releasing that shit on everything.
But it was my fault. I kept changing consoles and changing platforms and picking it up and putting it down and picking it back up again. I was doing the exact same thing Dev was doing.
If I ever beat GTA 5, it's going to be the exact same way because I still haven't beat that game. But yeah,
it's so much fun, but it's so long. You know, like if you're trying to beat a lot, if you're trying to play a lot of things, not trying to beat, but if you're playing a lot of things, it's so easy to put on the back burner. And then a year or so passes, you're like, I don't even remember how. I'll just start over. And it's so fun. That's the other part about it. it's so fun to play that you don't even bother playing. You're like, I'll just start it over, and you're like, I'll finish it, and then you don't.
You never finish it.
Yeah,
Of course.
my problem is getting over the Trevor hump because I don't like playing as him at all. So
Yeah, I know, I always
I
remember
get
you
to where
always
it's
say
just
that.
like just Trevor stuff and like the high stuff I don't really enjoy as much. So I'm like, this is where I kind of peter out and put it down and then don't
Yeah.
come back to it. So
I thought the heists were really cool gameplay elements. They don't really play anything like that in games. But I liked it's not so much like the planning, because the planning is kind of tedious.
that's
But
the
it's
part that I don't like.
but it's
The
the
actual
getaway.
execution is
The
fun.
getaway is super fun. Like those chases, those are like the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legit. All the little tedious planning stuff you guys do. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't
taking
wanna do
pictures and
that.
all
That is a
kind
lot.
of busy work. Yeah. GTA 4 was like that way for me with all the social stuff. Going
Oh
on
my god.
dates, and I was like, dude,
This is why I hate social elements in games now because of Grand
because
Theft
it's
Auto 4.
4.
Yes. Like I'm like if you don't stop calling my phone, no, I don't want to play darts. No, I don't. No.
You don't want to go bowling?
So
Yeah.
no, I don't want to go bowling. I don't want to go drink. I don't want to do any of that shit with you. Leave me alone. So yeah, that is the reason why I hate social elements in games. I don't want
Pure
to be bothered.
gameplay. Yeah, Valhalla would have taken. I think I did both Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild probably in around 80 hours apiece. And Valhalla pure gameplay was like twice that. At least.
Nice. Great question. Great question.
What are you, Delvin?
Oh yeah, there was Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom was
Oh,
the
that's
one
right. You said that. Yeah.
He gave us
Trying to think of
boring
the
answer. There was no
Yeah, you
backdrop
just
to
said
it.
it.
No,
moved on.
no build
Yeah,
up.
like,
Just this
Tears
game.
of the Kingdom.
That was 150 hours. No build up.
I
Nothing.
forgot about it.
No build up. Just that's the one. Trying to think of anything else. There's
Are
a
you
lot
ever
of
going
games
to go
I
back
play.
to that game?
Well, Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
Probably not. But like I told you before, I'm probably gonna end up playing Breath of the Wild now.
Like if they 4K 60 Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2, are you going to play it again?
I don't think so. I enjoyed my time with it so much.
do
I'm like, I
too.
don't need to go back to it. That's the whole thing. I'm like, I don't
I'm
need to
really
go back
weird
to this.
with. I don't really know how to explain it. All I can say is how I feel about it. I can't explain it. Like I don't think I have a good reason for feeling this way, but it's just how I feel. I'm really nostalgic for Breath of the Wild. Like that experience of coming out in that world and living that world and that map and those people and those villages. I'm like, I kind of always want to replay it. It's very Wind Waker-ish in my mind. And I don't have that same feeling for Tears of the Kingdom, even though I love the game. And I think in a lot of ways it's a better game. I think story-wise it's a much better game. I think it's just the grind. I think I start to like, I get deep in my own thoughts usually when I'm mowing grass. I wonder if I played Tears of the Kingdom like wrong, where I focus so much on the grind and grinding and getting the grind out that like the idea of replaying it is kind of off-puttish to me. Whereas like maybe if I just played the story and did it like in like maybe as the game was, I don't want to say intended because it's open, you can do whatever you want, but maybe if I had balanced some of that out a little bit more, maybe I'd be like, when I think of replaying Tears of the Kingdom, the first thing that comes to my mind is remapping all of the depths. It's regathering all of the batteries. It's reconnecting all of the ships and boats and shit. Like it's all of the stuff that you have to do to play that game versus playing the story, playing the dungeons, like all that's in backseat to all of the actual shit you have to do to play the game.
Yeah.
Whereas
You did it
all
like a
that's
job.
removed when I think of Breath of the Wild. I think of Breath of the Wild, I'm like, I hit the ground, I go to the temple, I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game,
Yeah.
you know? And for whatever reason, that, I don't want to say it lessens it, because again, I love Tears of the Kingdom. I think so often this comes off like I don't. It just, I don't think I hold it in that high regard. It's not as special to me
Because
as
it
a
was
Breath of the Wild
work. You
experience.
made it work.
I think
Yes.
so. Yeah. It's definitely the
totally turned it
grindier
into
of
a
the
job.
two. Whether you play it the same way or not, it's definitely the grindier. It's almost like that game is like padded out because like some of it you don't have to do all of it, but some of it you have to. Like you have to grind out a certain part of the game. You don't have a choice.
You do. It does make you do that. Because the game is infinitely more harder if you don't grind it out like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Great
And
question.
it's not fun when it's like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever replay it.
I don't think
And I'll
I will
never
either.
finish it.
And I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoyed it. I can't stress how much I really enjoyed
really
it.
is really good. Story wise, it's way better. There's just a lot more story in it. The ending's 1,000 times better. The ending's incredible. Like if anything, I would replay the ending. Like I would go in towards the end and replay that. Maybe walk around, but I would never. I don't think I could ever clear my save and start Tears of the Kingdom again. I don't think I have it in me. I can't do all that again.
That is what I watched from Breath of the Wild. That whole story and everything. I loved it so much.
But the idea of Switch 2, Nintendo going, give us $60 and here's like 4K, whatever it is. Here's 60 frames per second on Breath of the Wild. That's exactly what I'm doing. Like immediately. I'm doing that first. I'm doing that before they're like, here's a brand new Mario game. Like, okay, I'll get to that once I experience the best that Breath of the Wild can be.
Yeah, I'd go to Breath of the Wild immediately because I
Isn't that like a weird fucking like I feel weird even saying, but that's exactly where I am.
Makes sense. I'd probably go to Breath of the Wild myself. Just like let me try it now with the knowledge I have from Tears of the Kingdom, and play.
I wish I could, Jonathan. If I could start the game over with all the stuff, I would probably that would be the way that I would kind of return to Tears of the Kingdom. If I could legit start over, but with like here's 20 hearts and 10 batteries. But okay. I can do that.
New Game Plus.
Captain Awesome. We did the Return to Hyrule a few times over our years at Shack. What I used to always do, and I obviously know that this is hindsight and it's not going to save you, is I would always back up my save to the cloud and then turn off auto syncing and then play my local file, whatever I want. And then whenever I was done with it, just download my save from the cloud and write it back over. So I'd always have my original save. I've carried my original save for... I think I've replayed Breath of the Wild 4 times, and I still have my original save because of that.
It doesn't have multiple save slots?
It doesn't. Nope.
What the hell?
Neither does Animal Crossing. Another alternative, what a lot of people do is you can create another profile on the Switch. So you have your you could create an alt profile and then use that.
My son does that, and it drives me insane.
Yeah. I have a Zelda alt profile on my current Switch, and Jack was like, what the fuck's this? It's literally called Zelda alt. That's the only reason that profile exists.
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
When I see Zelda, I just see 3 save slots. You just pick one.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. File 1, 2, 3.
Why doesn't
Link,
that exist?
Hearts, name. Yeah, but
bullshit.
They axed it.
Damn it, Nintendo! You just continue to kill all the things I love.
That's the joy of it.
DLC, extra save slot, $2.99.
Bastards. Shifting gears completely, Tyler Kopp says, let's talk SummerSlam.
Uh-oh, Delvin.
Which match is looking to be the best lead up to SummerSlam? Current state or slate has to be Punk versus McIntyre. It's a great story. Logan Paul versus LA Knight has a good build too. What do the two of you think?
I'm curious in your answer on this, Donnie, because I have a completely out of left field answer.
So before I answer, I want to ask you, is Gunther getting the belt? You said that he was the first time. I didn't think that they would give him the belt like this, but it looks like they probably are.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like that matchup has had the best build. I'm really enjoying that build for that matchup.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It's really good.
I kind of
don't think he's going to win the belt now.
I kind of hope he's not, because I feel like when he gets the big belt, it needs to be a thing.
I think it might be a bash at Berlin.
You think they're going to do the home crowd thing? I can see it now. Now,
I think so
after
now.
the build that we've had, I'm starting to come around to that. That might be a possibility.
After him, the way he's been talking to Damian Priest and telling him he's a paper champion and all that stuff, I think it might be bash at Berlin.
The match that I'm most invested in is probably the Morgan Ripley match, just because the feud has been so good. The match that I'm most intrigued or most interested in seeing what they do is the Logan Paul LA Knight match. It's time for LA Knight to take a step forward. I kind of hope that this is his coronation. I'm not sure if it is. I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger, but it's time. He's a top of the card guy. He needs a belt. He needs a run. Logan Paul's had it. He's not making any. I don't know if he can do any more with it. You know, like I don't know if him keeping it's really helping anybody. So like, I feel like it's time for him to move forward. The Punk Drew match is going to be phenomenal. Their little promo was phenomenal with Seth Rollins. So like,
Really good.
yeah, really good. I can't. I'm not a Punk guy, so I can't tell you I'm super excited because I think I know what a Punk match is going to be. Like he's just is what he is at this point. It's going to be a lot of like ground and pound. It's going to be a lot of sweating. It'll be very slow, you know. But they'll have their moments, and I think it'll pick up towards the end, and they'll do something with it. I do hope that they have a clean finish in that match. My biggest concern is that they do some wonky shit and they just keep extending this out.
I don't think they are.
You don't think they're going to what?
Have a clean finish.
Yeah,
Seth is
going
to 100% hit.
It feels like that's the whole point of Seth being there, is to prolong this to keep happening.
Yeah.
Which I'm not against. It's just it feels like time for them to. I was kind of hoping they would do like the Shawn Michaels, you know, like Triple H, Undertaker thing here, where Seth is biased, but in the end, like he does the right thing. It's kind of what I was hoping for.
I was too, but it seems like they want to. It seems like it might end up being a triple threat match at some point.
Yeah,
I could see it.
I could see it, but I'm Morgan and Rhea. I want to see what they do with that.
It's gonna be really interesting. I think I haven't liked Liv Morgan's title reign because she doesn't defend it for shit. But I think the match is gonna be really good.
Logan Paul.
Well, yeah, I can also say that about him too. Yeah,
he's at like 2 matches in like 15 months, man.
Like yeah, but I do like to build forward.
Sammy,
he's gonna lose that belt.
Yeah, right. So like, who are they going to elevate?
Braun Breaker.
I can make a case for Ilya.
Ilya would be cool.
You know,
but I think they're leading up to Braun Breaker beating Sammy because Sammy's talking shit now.
Yeah,
Sammy's
it's a good card. It's a
really good card.
Should be a fun show.
I think the biggest thing is if Roman's coming back.
Do you think he's coming back? I don't think he's coming back yet. I think it's too soon.
I think he might come back at the end of the show. It would not surprise me.
I think they can allude to it. There could be a tease, but I feel like it's too soon. I still think there's story here. There's story here with the new bloodline. You know, like there's still new bloodline stuff to happen before you bring Roman back.
I think they could build on it. Yeah,
but you might be right. I mean, I would not be surprised if Roman returns. I just feel like I feel like if I had to guess, I would say like I think maybe more likely Rock returns than Roman right now.
No, that would be cool.
I could see that. I mean, I could see both. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know. But I'm just trying to go from where I think the story is headed. I think that could be the case. The Rock comes back, starts pulling the strings, and then that leads to Roman coming back, and then we kind of go new versus old bloodline, which is where personally, that's where I think this is headed. Some bloodline civil war bullshit.
Which people are so hyped for, so that'll be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not like particularly hyped about that, but like it makes sense. It's like an inner family. Like that's a feud that you don't need a whole lot to build. They could just show up at Mania and that be the thing, and then that's the thing. You know.
Yeah, and they got one more brother left, so.
Yeah, they still like that's kind of where I don't think Roman shows up yet, because I don't think they're not done. The table has yet to be set for that.
They have more Samoans.
They have more. Yeah, there's more stuff to do.
More Samoans is in the background just waiting. Like, all right, we're coming out now.
You're not quite ready for that yet.
I'm digging it though. It's fun. It's fun.
You know, I'm waiting for WWE to hit Netflix so I can watch it more often. I'm still, because I don't have cable, I only watch what I can glean through social and YouTube. So,
don't you have my Peacock?
Peacock is way behind on the weekly shows. I watch the pay-per-views. Yeah, I watch the pay-per-views, but you don't get the weekly shows.
I didn't know it was behind. That's really?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
if you log into Raw on Peacock, it's from like 4 months ago. Shit's old news. Yeah.
Don't they have a live TV option with Peacock? It doesn't show the live stuff? Really?
No.
That's stupid.
Got to subscribe to cable.
I
That's
thought
why-
at one point wasn't it on Hulu? Hulu had
That's
like
why it's late, but it is on Hulu. Yeah, I think it's like a week behind or so.
yeah.
But that's why I was always that's why I was so excited for them to hit Netflix. I just want all of my things to be on streaming apps. Like, I just think that's where the world is. I know there's a bunch of old people that don't like. There are people mad as hell that so much of the Olympics is on Peacock. I'm like, man, just subscribe to Peacock. Like, it's not that big of a fucking deal.
Right, for a month for $4.
Right, but then people so mad that they have to log into Peacock
to watch the Olympics on Peacock today, and I signed in, and it went to an ad, and then it got off an ad and went to another fucking ad. I was like, absolutely not. I'm done.
Really?
Sir, we grew up in the era of commercials. You should be fine.
No,
like
I've watched nothing but the Olympics on Peacock, and I've not really had a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know why it did that. It went like from an ad to
when
another
you have
ad.
a commercial, it tells you how long it is. It's like it'll be 60 seconds.
Then it went to like
a little
another ad.
timer.
Yeah,
like it did that, and then it went to another
experience.
That's
weird.
weird.
So
did you like?
I don't know
wonder
why
if
it
it
did
was
that.
like you may have got on like right when they were like cutting over a stream. Maybe you got double served.
I think it probably did.
So you turned it off.
Definitely had that happen.
You were 120 seconds away, and you were like, "Fuck that! I
Fuck
just
that.
won't watch
Goddamn
this
right.
anymore."
I will watch something else.
Wow,
You lost me.
Wow. You could upgrade to the no commercial feed, like if it bothers you that much.
I'm not doing that for Peacock.
I have Peacock
wow.
for $1.99 a month. I got a year promo of Peacock for $1.99 like 10 months ago.
That's not what I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, like I just ride it until she leaves, until Netflix comes around, and then
I only use it for wrestling. I literally only use it for wrestling.
They have a movie every now and again that I'll give a try. Like there are TV shows on there, like That 70s Show and stuff. It's on there.
You need a profile? You need a profile, Delvin? I can get you a
Yes,
profile on my
Dev's
Peacock.
got you hooked up here.
It's not hard.
I'm gonna have to holler at
I watched the basketball game today. I watched the women tomorrow. I watched volleyball today. I watched swimming. I've been digging it.
That's cool.
That's the thing about I see some of it's mostly Facebook, but I see like my in-laws and their friends and they're complaining about Peacock. Why do I need an app to watch the Olympics? It's like they want all of the Olympics on one channel. And it's like, you realize they can't do that, right? There's 13 events going on, but there's 13 events going on at the same time.
There are so many more Olympic sports that I had no idea
Dude,
in existence.
facts.
So
My wife had
what
me
the
watching
hell is
some
this?
fucking prancing horse. I was like, why is this the Olympics?
All these
What the fuck
equestrian
is
stuff,
this?
I'm like, what is
She's
happening?
like, this is an Olympic sport. I was like, no, it's not. Take your animal games somewhere else. Like, this is not an Olympic sport. This is supposed to be a human event. What the fuck are we doing? And it was just prancing. She was like, you don't understand how long it takes to train. I was like, it doesn't matter. It's literally just with the beat of the music. Like, that's not. What are we doing here?
The fact that like break dancing is an Olympic sport. The 3-on-3 stuff, I'm still like shocked. That's a thing.
I was watching 3-on-3 basketball. I was watching it. I was like, get him.
What is happening?
I love it.
I forget who we were playing. It was the USA game. They were playing somebody. And they had a big ass dude who was just dominating down low. We had some little guy trying to guard him. I was like, oh, we are fucked.
There was some weird field hockey thing that I had never seen before. I was like, this is an Olympic sport?
Field
all
hockey?
the shooting.
Like
I'm like, what is happening?
I know shooting. Shooting is the thing. Oh, we were so Delvin and Rebecca talked about this in Shaq last week. Dev, I'd love to hear what you think, because I definitely understand what Rebecca and Delvin were saying. They're right, but at some point in the chat, I think I brought up wrestling, and the response to that was Rebecca was like, "Who watches the Olympics for wrestling?" She's like, "That's not even an Olympic sport." Which blew my mind because I was like, it's the Olympic sport. Like it is the sport, like the first one. We've been doing it forever. It's like goes. They call it Greco-Roman wrestling.
Coliseum.
It's the whole
Coliseum.
fucking thing.
Like, this is where
Doesn't exist.
Started.
Now I realize that it's not popular. People do swimming. I realize that people don't watch it. I get that, but like the idea that they omitted it as like nobody gives a fuck about. Like it is the whole reason that like the whole thing is there.
Yeah. Wow, y'all just.
She was like, and Rebecca, and I may be misquoting her, but I don't think so. I think at one point she was like, I didn't even know wrestling was an Olympic sport.
She did
And, like,
say that.
Christ.
my mind was fucking blown.
She 100% said that.
Because I wrestled. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Donnie was like, I could have been there. I could have been in the Olympics. How dare you?
Fucking point. She's like, Donnie, nobody cares. I'm like, a lot of people care.
She clearly does not know about Kurt Angle, you know.
I mean, a lot of people care. Not just Kurt. There's a lot of amazing NCAA wrestlers, you know. Kyle Snyder and shit. Like, they're
These are names nobody knows.
They need to just go all the way with it. They should have professional
Olympics
wrestling. They should have people come out of
If you want people to actually acknowledge it, you're gonna have to, because right now, when people hear wrestling, they don't think about the actual wrestling.
Of course
it's just
not. No, that I know.
WWE.
Sure.
We need to
And
see
the other
John
thing just
Cena.
looks stupid. Like, actual wrestling just looks dumb. Nobody wants to watch that.
See,
Like, I get it. I get it. I know it's a thing. It did not exist when I was in high school. And I have friends from the East Coast who actually, I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea that was a thing because it just didn't exist in my world. And yeah, I can understand why people are like, nobody's watching that.
like I said, John Cena, bring him out. Let him go out there.
So like
enjoy it.
Brock Lesnar, right? The Beast Among Man, UFC champion.
Yes.
Like the stories were on him. He's a monster, right? I think he's a 2-time NCAA champion. He
That is
did not
correct.
qualify for he was not good enough for the Olympics. That's how good Olympic wrestling is.
They are on another level. They are like,
Yeah,
really
like
good.
he's a monster among everybody else in all these sports that we have that we think are good, and like he get his ass kicked to the Olympics. Like,
Because he was too big. He wasn't nimble enough to
there's
maneuver
people his
around
big.
and
There's heavyweights,
do those things.
the whole division.
Yeah,
There's a very famous story of Brock Lesnar coming to Kurt Angle off script, going, "Hey, I want to wrestle you for real, like shoot." And I think Matt Hardy was watching. I think he's like he was like, I was there. There's a few wrestlers that have been like, I was there the day this happened, where Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar got in a ring and wrestled. And Kurt
I
Angle
remember
whooped
this.
his ass.
That is correct. That was a thing that happened.
So, yeah. Kurt Angle beating a Russian in wrestling as an American with a broken neck, no less, but just beating a Russian period was like a major Olympic moment for Americans.
It
You know,
really
it was like the hockey miracle. They should have made a movie out of that.
never heard of it. Didn't happen.
Wow.
I
You
wanna
don't
say
know the
that's
Kurt
what
Angle
helped get him a
story?
contract.
The actual Olympics?
I've never heard of that in my life.
He beat a Russian. I don't think he was the first, but he beat a Russian in the gold medal. It's not a thing that's happened often. Like when it comes to wrestling, the Russians and I think the Polish, they have like dominated. Like that's their basketball. Russians have like a bajillion gold medals in wrestling, and Kurt Angle won his weight division, won the gold medal, and his neck was broke.
Yes.
He did it with like a fracture in one of his vertebrae, and he won the whole damn thing. It was a pretty fucking amazing moment.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And there's like footage of this. You can go watch this. This is the
Yeah, you
thing.
can watch it. It's on YouTube.
Would never do that.
But anyway, I didn't mean to dive off too far, but I was losing my mind on the other end of the damn.
This is the
shack
perfect.
thing.
This is the
I
perfect
was like,
transition.
this is
because
fucking wild. She was like, I didn't even know wrestling was a sport. And I
Kyle
could
the
see in
Plug-
her head, she's like, is Stone Cold there? Like what? She's like,
Tell you what
Undertaker
you're
comes
doing.
out or some shit.
Representing the United States from Death Valley,
Death
California.
Come to the ring by
The
Death Valley Dev, the Undertaker.
It just comes out to watch.
I mean, that might actually get people to watch Olympic wrestling. You might tap into a whole new audience.
But you're right. There's some shit sports that we should do. We should clean some of this shit up.
There's some.
We shouldn't have horses prancing, or that's not an Olympic sport, man.
I don't think we have a choice in the matter. We don't make the Olympics. They gotta pick
No.
that on their own.
Yeah, the committee, they vote on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of Olympics, Kyle the Pug,
Fuck you, Counterpug.
Nice.
who wants to know what's been your favorite Summer Olympics moment so far? For him, it was Simone Biles reaching 8 gold medals and achieving her status as Queen of the Olympics. Also, do you think she has surpassed Michael Phelps as being the best American Olympian of all time?
I have a hot take. I think I have a hot take.
Okay.
My wife doesn't like this about me.
Okay.
I don't like sports that have judges.
So you don't like the Olympics?
What does that
No,
even mean?
I love the Olympics, but like I don't get sports. I think it's just naivety. It's ignorance. I don't understand sports where somebody. I'm just going to use the gymnastics example. It's not just gymnastics. I'll just use an example. Gymnast runs across the thing, jumps in the air, spins around 8 times, does 4 flips, lands. A judge is like 9.8. Somebody else comes out, does
the
more or
exact
less
same
the
thing.
same exact thing, and they're like 9.5. I don't know what that means. I'm like, I don't understand why one's better than the other. Like, I don't get it. And I feel the same way about synchronized swimming. I feel the same thing about diving. I'm like, I don't like. To me, there's something lost in a sport where I can't clearly. I want the athletes to decide who wins and who loses, not a judge.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where since you're not actively competing against somebody where you can truly win, the judgment is all based on the complexity of the routine.
Oh no, I get
How-
it. I
so,
followed.
like, I don't.
I
so
get it.
why
Like
don't you?
ice skating and
why
stuff.
does
I
that
just
bother
don't. I
you?
just don't like it because it always just feels like it's up to human error. It's like saying like this video game is better because it's a 9 and this one's an 8. And it's like, yeah, but that's somebody's biased opinion on it. How is this one better if it's a 9 or not? Like maybe I like the 8 more.
So
You know, like
you need like a byline. It's like this
There's
is where
just
she lost points on.
there's a disconnection that I can't get over in those sports. So I have a harder time watching those sports personally. I'm like,
Understandable. I get what
can't
you're
get
saying.
this. I like the sports where they're wins and losses. I want somebody to win. I want to see athletic achievement, and I can grade it against the other athletes.
I mean,
It
you
feels
just
like
watch Simone Biles and watch the rest of them. It's clear.
100%. And I'm not taking anything away from Simone. I watched her, and yeah, like she's a monster. Like she is just an energy spring. Like she's incredible. All of the gym, they were all great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't understand like how much one's better than the other. So for me, I typically watch the more competitive sports. For me, that's not my favorite moment. The rugby moment that's going around, that was pretty fucking amazing. Talk about like a walk-off home run, bottom of the 9th. Did you guys see that?
Not
You know
at
what I'm
all.
talking about? So the American women medaled in rugby. I feel like this is the first time the American women have ever medaled in rugby.
Didn't even know rugby was an Olympic sport until
They got bronze. Not only did they get bronze, they got bronze essentially by like, do you guys remember like the Alabama Auburn game where they returned a kick in the last second? That's essentially what happened in this game. Like they were playing, it was Australia or Austria? I think it was Australia. Like fucking home of rugby, right? And the girls they get the ball. They're like all the way down at their own goal line essentially, and they pass it off. And this girl runs right into a tackle, and you're like, that's it, it's over. And she busts through it and fucking takes it to the house as time expires. Like
I think I did see that.
It doesn't get any more dramatic than that. So that was pretty incredible. But for me, when I think of like Queen of the Olympics or like decorated, KatieLedecky's on a whole other fucking world right now. I'm not sure if you guys follow her, the swimmer.
No idea who that is.
She's beating people by like half a pool. Like she's so much better than everybody else that when they zoom in on her coming to the finish, there are no other swimmers in the frame. She's headed back while everybody is still going the opposite direction. Like they pass. That's how much faster she is than everyone else. It's insane to watch. Like that is when you want to like see Olympics, like that's like Olympic shit. I'm like, oh, she's the best in the world. Not the best here, not the best in this fleet. Like, she's better than everyone else. There's nobody else better than her right now. That's pretty incredible. But Phelps, and I'm not an Olympian historian, so I don't know how true this is, but they were talking about Phelps earlier on the broadcast. I think they said he had something crazy like 25 medals, and I think the next American had like 10. Simone has like 8. So like just put that like in standings. Like Phelps is kind of in a whole other league. Not from her, from like literally everyone. Like the rest of the world ever. Phelps is in a whole other league. He's
Wow.
pretty incredible. But I've
Do you
enjoyed
have
it.
a highlight, Delvin?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, me
Have you
neither.
guys not watched it all? You're not into the
Not
Olympics
really.
at all? Do you watch the
I would
basketball
watch it,
even?
but I told you that when I tried to watch it.
Oh, that's true. You didn't watch
He gave me
basketball?
two
Times
commercials.
that it
I'm like,
comes
fuck
on.
this.
The times
No?
that it comes on, like I'm working or I'm sleeping.
I feel you
so
there. Yeah, I wouldn't have
just-
watched it if I wasn't working from home today. Golf is happening today, Olympic golf. It's at 3 a.m, so I
Golf
won't know
is an
what
Olympic
happens
sport?
until tomorrow. Yeah, it was brought into the Olympics, the last Olympics. So this is the second time, I think. The men's basketball team today were pretty killer. They beat South Sudan as a team they barely beat. South Sudan is very impressive. Like, that's kind of the underdog. I'd love
I
to
was
root for
reading
them.
about that.
They're great. It's a great story for one, like what Luol Deng and everything has done for the team. But they're way better than people think. They've got a bunch of players that are either NBA players or will be NBA players. A lot of them are in college. But like the whole team is like 6'9". Like everybody is like long and can shoot. The whole team. And they just play with so much energy. They were down today by the US, I think, at one point by like 25. You wouldn't know it if you didn't tell them that. Because they were like, we're coming back. You could see it. Like they are closing out everything, pressing full court. Like they are here to win.
nice.
And it was fun to watch. And they made America work for it, even towards the end. Like I think we won maybe by like 17 or 18, I think, at the end. But it got down. I think at one point they closed that thing close to like 10 points. Like it is a lot closer than anybody would ever give any credit to a country, South Sudan. Probably people would never even heard of it before. You know, like
That's dope.
they're really good. They played their hearts out. And then the Americans, they played great. Bam was great. Bam has had a great Olympics, by the way, Delvin, if you're not watching. Bam has been incredible. He's shooting threes all of a sudden out of like from everywhere. Like the Heat need to give this man some threes because he's raining threes down all over the Olympics.
Do that shit in the season, bam.
Yeah, it'd be great. LeBron has been a monster. He's been a beast. Durant was killer in the first game. They did put Tatum out there today. I'm not sure if you guys have been following. He didn't play in the first game at all.
I saw that. I saw he didn't play.
He didn't play great today. He played 20 minutes at 4 points.
Well, that's why he didn't play the first game.
Halliburton played better today. Derek White played great. It was a great pick, Derek White. He's not I'm going to lead the team in points or anything like that, but like today, there was this moment in the first quarter they were very chippy. It was like 11-10. I think Sudan went on like a 7-point run to like almost tie it up. So you were like, oh shit, we got a game here. And in like one segment, Derek White like blocked the ball, and then South Sudan got a steal, and then Derek White stole the ball back from them without like from behind, which led to like a three. And you're like, oh shit, like that's the glue guy. That's that guy that nobody's going to remember. He's not going to show up in the box score. He's not a fantasy guy, but he's the reason why we're winning right now. So he was a great pick for the alternate.
Awesome. Yeah, I just have not been following anything Olympic wise. I've seen snippets here and there, but it's just the time.
Yeah, I
does
think
not-
that's fair.
does
Yeah,
not work.
I mean, I've been watching a lot of it via YouTube recaps and stuff. Like, I'm oddly invested into the American women beach volleyball. Do you guys like volleyball at all?
No.
I love volleyball. I've played it when I was littler. I've always liked the sport. I'm oddly, I think maybe I'm much more a fan of beach volleyball than the team volleyball, and it's not because they wear bikinis. I like the 2-person volleyball game. I think it's more chaotic and more like when you have like 5 or 6 people out there on a team, the volleys can last forever because there's always somebody around covering the spot, right? It's more, I think it's more impressive to see somebody try to cover all that ground in the sand, no less. So like I kind of get really into it. I'm like, this is really cool.
Yeah, when I used to work event staff at CSUN when I was in college, so I watched a lot of volleyball, and I just always said these are basketball players that can't dribble.
My last girlfriend before Melissa in high school was our volleyball player, so I was following her around, watching her games too. So like I just have like an ingrained notion for that sport. It's pretty fun. I watched the women play basketball. They are the dream team. They are dominant. It's almost not fun to watch because they're just fucking crushing everybody.
I saw
dope.
one photo with Diana Taurasi like holding the ball up, just kind of like looking at one of the Japanese players who was just so short and just
It
kind of
really
holding
feels
up
like
and,
the
with this
Monstars. Like,
smile
oh,
on her
this
face.
shit isn't.
Oh,
This shit isn't.
wrong.
This isn't fair.
yeah.
Girl out here looking like Wilt Chamberlain, just getting every fucking rebound, every putback. Like, oh my god,
I've got no chance.
none. At least not the. It was a Japan. I think they played the game I
Yeah,
watched.
Japan.
Not not a chance. Y'all are toast.
Yeah, there was some fan that was in the stands that said y'all need Caitlin Clark to beat Japan, and like Brittany Griner and Asia Wilson were just kind of saw that. Were just
I think it was
laughing at
Asia that I was watching. She looked like fucking Wilt out there. It was insane. She cleaned up everything, got every putback. They just give her the ball. She just turn around, lay it in. I was like, this is not fair.
It's the reigning MVP right there.
Like this is. They have no legit answer to even make her work for it. You know, like this is. She's in whole other level.
All right, moving on and shifting gears completely. Jacked Up Review Podcast wants to know if Delvin should voice the Candyman in a fan audio drama.
Yes.
I don't think I'd be a good Candyman.
Why not?
Delvin
I
ain't
don't have
scary.
the voice for it.
Why?
He's not scary, but I mean, can you put
Candyman's
on the
not
scary
scary.
act?
Candyman's
I
not scary
can, but I don't-
voice.
It's
I think
It's the
Dev will make a
presence.
better Candyman.
I
I could
don't.
do that.
I disagree with you.
I think Dev would be a
Candyman
really
is
good Candyman.
suave. He's
Dev's
tempting.
suave.
It's alluring. So are you.
Yeah, but Dev's a different suave.
Delvin's heard me voice evil characters, so
Yeah, he's very good at it, surprisingly. Maybe because he's the evil person.
I can't say that I have the experience, but I think you definitely can. I think you have the voice for it. It's just the voice. Somebody said you got to go on the screen and act it, but the voice, yeah. You get into the microphone. Give me some lines.
Yeah. Trying to think.
I mean, you could do it. You just gotta get into the character.
Yeah,
That's all.
I think you totally can.
Yeah.
I love Candyman. Candyman's dope.
Candyman's great.
Great character.
I would like to voice Saw.
See, now that I don't like that. I'm like,
like
off the right. I'm
Jigsaw.
like, that doesn't make sense.
I could
Like-
see
like-
that.
Okay, yeah.
I could see that.
That'd be cool.
Give me your Jigsaw.
I had a. Would you like to play a game?
See, I don't. No,
See, I gotta
not even a little bit.
You're trying too hard. You just gotta come off more natural.
Not it. Sorry, Dylan.
Would you like to play a game?
I don't think. See, that's the thing about Candyman is I don't think you'd have to try so hard.
Yeah, Candyman's. He's cool. He's
Yeah.
effortless cool.
Yeah. I love Candyman. I love the character.
I've
His
only
movies,
seen the
they're
first
so
movie.
unique. I'm sorry?
He is.
I said I've only ever seen the first one.
Yeah. The remake was good. I liked it.
I like all
To
three
the
of them.
very
Remake?
end, I talked about on Decade of Horror. It was like a reboot. Jordan Peele did one.
Yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed
It
that
is
one.
good. It is good. I have one complaint, but it's a major complaint. At the very end, they say Candyman into the mirror, but the person doesn't die, and that's not allowed. You've broken the rule of the whole universe. Why Candyman even exists? Can't do that. I hate that.
I agree.
Like we have rules. There's a whole universe, a whole lore here, and you just broke it all. Like she should have
The
died.
whole purpose of rules.
You should have
to break
died.
them?
No, not in horror. You can't do that.
Oh, this is why I think horror's stupid. Break the
You
rules.
think it is stupid. It's stupid that you say Candyman into a mirror and some dude shows up and kills you. That's a
There's
stupid
a
thing.
reason.
What?
There's got to be a
That's
reason
the
why
whole
this
point.
person didn't
That's
die.
the whole point of the whole thing. The whole point of 4 or 5 movies is that, and you were like, but no.
Isn't the whole point to like try to find a way to get away with it? Like, why was this person able to say it and it didn't happen? This person's special.
She was black,
or something.
and she was like being arrested or accosted by this white dude. So she said it, and he showed up and killed the white guy, which I can
I'm
appreciate.
here for it. I'm here for it.
Look, I didn't.
Won me over.
The only thing I didn't like is that it broke the rules. She should have it would have been better if she had found somebody to get him to say it, because that would have been using the rules in her favor. But it broke the rules.
Candyman turn over a new leaf? Did he decide I'm
Outside
not
of
gonna
that,
hurt? I'm here to save? So now you
Outside
call
of that,
Explain.
I don't like the idea of him like now I'm a superhero. Like that's also not cool. I don't like that either. It's supposed to be a horror
different
movie.
kind of horror. It's a different kind
Look
of horror.
at Delvin's
Here for that.
curtains. Are you getting like the Tekken thing with? Is that just me?
I am.
Is he like a high tea over here? Is that?
That's his name, Hachi. Yes,
He's
that's what I am
definitely
now.
got that.
The evil Tekken bad guy. Off the cliff.
But yeah, but outside of that, I thought the reboot was really well done.
It's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, about as good as you think you could have hoped for.
Yeah. I
Considering
can't remember the
Tony
guy's
Todd
name
anymore.
who plays Candyman.
Tony
He's really
Todd.
good. He's a really good actor. No, not Tony
Or you mean
Todd.
the
The
new one?
new one. The new
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, he did a good job. When it comes to like recasting iconic horror villains, that's probably one of the better ones.
He's a very underrated actor. He plays Black Manta in Aquaman too. He's really good, but he's in a whole bunch
I
of
wouldn't
things.
know
He's
what
really
that
good
is.
in.
I didn't watch Aquaman.
Can't remember his name.
Yahya Abdul Mateen.
Yeah, he's a very good actor. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen it, so I got nothing. Edward Varnell wants to know how many game codes or cheats or secret moves can you think of off the top of your head, and what is your personal history with codes and cheats in gaming?
Oblivion is a hand.
One.
I can think of two.
Konami code.
The Konami code.
Yeah.
The Konami code and then the level select and debug code for Sonic the Hedgehog.
I definitely don't know that. I don't remember that one at all.
Do you like warp
I
whistles
forgot.
and shit count? Power Ps?
Oh, it's a cheat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember how to
those.
get to the warp zones in Mario Brothers and
Hidden levels.
That counts. Those would
I
be
remember that off the
considered
top of my
like
head.
built-in cheats. Yeah.
Oblivion hand with
Konami
Turok. Lots of shooter stuff. I love cheat codes.
I do too.
I miss them. I wish we still had them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought like secrets for sure. Like all of my boomer shooters, secrets are like the name of the game. That's what's so fun about most of them. I think cheat codes are super fun. I wish games still had them. I don't mind that like when like the few of that do that they turn off achievements. I think it's totally fair. I think cheat codes are really cool in the sense it's almost like an accessibility play or argument that I might make. But like if a game is hard or challenging somebody, if you don't give them another option, then they just turn it off, and I don't like that. I think there's almost like a mastering a game that you can get out of like, okay, let me turn on this feature or something that lets me get through it. Maybe I learn from it, maybe I get better, maybe I come back and play it again. You know, like there's some of that there that I think is lost when you just turn it off. I like seeing they're like new games. Like I think Naughty Dog's been really good at that, offering not cheat codes, but like a shit ton of accessibility features to let you basically tune the game to be as hard or as good as you want, or like maybe you have a hard time saying and they've got options for that, or a hard time hearing and things like that. I think those are. I wish the rest of the industry would pick up on kind of what they're doing, but also like, you know, again, if it's out of we don't want you to do that because we have achievements, okay, then turn the achievements off and let people who don't give a shit about that, like, it's just a game.
I think when it comes down to being able to play the game or get achievements, they're going to choose being able to play the game. So
Yeah, exactly. And like it's just a video game. What do you care how somebody else plays their game? I'm gonna do whatever they want to do with it. I don't give a fuck. It used to be more fun, and also I think with like games that like gatekeep or lock out like a lot of progression to like encourage you to pay. I think that's a big reason why cheats went away, because they don't want you to bypass like progression loops because they want to encourage you to buy things. And I'm not opposed to that either. I've always said that. Like, I think like if you want to do boosters or paid cheat codes, I think let people buy it DLC. I think it's totally fair. You know, I think that'd be totally fine. But if you're going to charge people for it, then don't turn off stuff. Like let them, like you're charging for it now. Now it's kind of open. Like now you gotta like get back to that. But
I mean, there was a market for the Game Genie and the Pro X and replay and all that stuff. You could totally just have those things being things that you buy in the game.
my Game Shark was a big reason why I really enjoyed Gran Turismo back in the day when I was into it, because I could like unlock all the cars and I didn't have to do 1,000 races and do all the lights. I could just play the game the way I wanted to play it, which led to me playing it a lot longer than I probably ever would have. You because it's just fun.
I never owned a Game Shark or a Game Genie or any of that stuff. So my history with cheats is if it wasn't built in, like I didn't.
I used cheats to beat Doom 64. Shit gets tough after a while, man.
I like.
I want to turn some of this stuff on, but I like they built that into the game on the remaster. I was like, this is awesome.
Good old God mode.
Or you can like unlock like all of the weapons.
Yeah.
My favorite cheats.
History with it. Did you use them? Did you use a Game Genie?
I used all that shit, man. The Game Genie was my shit, man. I love the Game Genie. Game Genie they should bring back. Like I used it. Like I remember buying one.
Third party hasn't. But I wonder if the consoles make it to where you're not like you can't do it.
I mean, what would you do? It'd have to be like a memory card. But these things don't use memory cards, so like how would
a hard
you?
Drive? You could like plug it in, like a thumb drive or something.
It had to be something like that. But then
I'm wondering
that's breaking code like that.
Exactly. I say the consoles probably have security to stop you from running executables. So you can't do that. That's shit. It's lame.
Yeah, I loved it. It was fun, especially in the Nintendo era because a lot of those games were broken as fuck. Game Genie made it.
I can understand that big time.
Game Genie made it so you can beat it and enjoy the game. Actually, yeah, I used to love it.
I never owned a Game Shark. My a friend that was in the neighborhood was. I remember exactly. It was my Dreamcast era. I was playing Dreamcast, and a friend of mine had a PlayStation 2, and I would go to his house, and he had a Game Shark, and I was like, "This is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen."
Yeah,
like you open it up,
had a
type
Game
the
Shark
code, and all kinds of shit would happen in the game. I was like, "This is fucking wild." I remember playing Grand Theft Auto with cheat code. I was like, "This is fucking awesome."
Yeah, GTA had a bunch of cheat codes in it.
Yeah,
just in the game.
Yeah, and
that was great.
Those until I got into magazines and stuff later.
Yeah, that's how I knew about. I mean, I always had some kind of gaming subscription, so that's how I knew about a lot of the codes. I just didn't really use a lot of them. Like I'm just playing the story and going through. I think the only ones I really ever used was the Konami code, the God mode code, and Doom, and like the level select in Sonic. That's really it for me as far as that stuff was concerned.
I mean, playing the Nintendo stuff, I never really had access to any of that either. I just had good old-fashioned guides. Guides and get good.
Yep.
Or quit. Which often I did that instead of getting good. I just quit.
No, it's another good thing.
Never claimed to be good. It was most of the time just quit.
When the magazines had the level select code for every game, they would just have like a code there. Like if you don't want to like play through the whole game, just put this code in. You're at the last level. Like if you lose your save or some shit like that, yeah. I used to love that. Like, all right.
Yeah, like the Justin Bailey code for Metroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wrestling games had a shit ton of codes. I remember all the secret codes. You'd put in like Nitro and stuff, and you'd unlock like Disco Inferno, or you could play as like the staff. You remember that?
I remember that.
You play as like the developers. They put themselves in there. You play as like Santa Claus or like a bee and shit. This shit was so stupid.
I remember that stuff for NBA Jam. I didn't know it was in wrestling games.
Big head mode.
Bill Clinton,
P Funk, right. Air Dog, Will Smith, DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Fuck, Air Dog.
Air Dog.
Yeah, I forgot all about Air Dog. Yeah, sports games are great at that. I remember unlocking like the All Tiburon team, right? Like the Maddens and stuff. Yeah, they had little fun stuff like that every now and again. They're really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Need to get back to that.
It'd be fun. It'd be great.
Yeah, I would love that for sports games. For sure.
That's what that fucking FCS Southeast. That was like the best story about college. Looking at people on the brink, man.
That and the fucking receiver for Ohio State. Oh my God. He is causing people to break controllers with that spin move.
I love that's Judkins, the running back.
Judkins. I thought it was receiver. Jesus Christ.
The funny thing about that is I've seen so many people complain. They're like, y'all need to fix this. This is a college football. But then there's equally amount of like fans like posting videos of college football players doing exactly
that. Yeah.
They're like, this is the fucking game. This is the sport. This is what this is like.
This is real. That spin move that he's done that. That happened.
It's funny. You see so many people complain like they're like, make it Madden. It's like it's not Madden.
It's not Madden.
Right. This isn't that. The spin move's OP. Yeah, because he's really good and most people aren't. Like that's how that works.
College football.
That's how college football works.
watched a clip where dudes spent out and just basically spent around the entire team. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
It's like
That's how he gets in NFL.
This game is real.
NFL, everybody's an NFL player. In college football, there's 14,000 players, and 150 of them will go to the NFL. And like out of the 150, like 25 will be good players that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is gonna like go sell insurance or some shit, like go teach.
Work at Geico.
Yeah, they're not good. So yeah, Judkins is. That's how that works.
Yep. Sleepy Gamer has a question that I think is right up Delvin's alley. He says, what is one thing that you've bought that you thought you'd regret it and get rid of it, but ended up using it a decent amount of years later? Because I feel like Delvin just has a lot of shit.
I don't think I have anything like that off the top of my head that I thought I would regret.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I think of is like more like experiences. You know, when it comes to stuff like that, 'cause like there was a time where I was going to a lot of like wrestling events, and I would splurge and like sit front row, like AEW and WWE events. I would just go, and I enjoyed myself. I was like, at first, I was like, I'm spending a lot of money to go see this shit. Then it was a lot of money. Then now that I think about it now, like, damn, I miss going to wrestling events. They don't really have them like that around here no more.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, it's been a while since they had like an actual one here. The last time they had one here, I didn't find out to it till it was like the day of. Like, damn, that was some badass promotion. Yeah, stuff like that. I don't think I regret like buying stuff that I was like, oh.
I mean, something that you thought you'd regret, but ended up it being like, well, this is a good investment.
If I think I'm going to regret it, I just wouldn't
Like
fucking
your
buy
Nespresso.
it. I'm still enjoying it.
Loving that Nespresso.
That's probably why I had the high blood pressure. Just drinking all these goddamn espresso.
I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer.
I definitely don't have anything because, I never get rid of anything. Like that's kind of my thing. Like if I'm buying it, I'm gonna keep it. So.
And I'm the opposite. I get rid of shit all the time. So.
Exactly. That's why I was like, this might work for Delvin, but Donnie's like, if I ain't used it in 3 weeks, it's gone. You're on. You're scheduled for deletion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Treat your stuff like a database. It's got an expiration date. Got a purge.
I mean, not always. Some stuff stays. Like I think I've got things that I bought and splurged on that. Like I do think, like in hindsight, I probably wouldn't do that again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the flips. It's the turnaround. It's like I thought that way, and then it came back around. That's the boomerang is the part that I'm having a hard time coming.
Yeah.
To find anything.
There are some things I bought like I didn't need to buy this. Like I bought a water fountain outside for my house. And like, I probably didn't need to buy this. But then I looked at like, yeah, this shit's cool as fuck. I like sitting out here just listening to the water. So I don't regret it enough.
Yeah. All my shit is like toys.
Yeah.
Same.
Sometimes just gotta buy shit to make you happy.
That's
all.
That's
fuck
it.
if you regret it. Like it's just
makes
me happy.
This is not a healthy way of looking at it, but the way that I appease my own brain is that like, what else are you doing all this fucking work for?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of working every day of your life until you die if you can't have fun every now and again? I'm not telling you to waste every dollar you have, but like, you really like in my head, I don't want to fret over like $200 purchases.
Exactly.
If you look at me as like a corporation, I'm spending like 70 grand a year on various things. If $200 is what keeps me away from like being happy momentarily, it's probably worth the $200.
Yep.
That's kind of how I at least appease my own brain. Yeah, I don't know. And like in hindsight, I never would have bought that Ventura. Right? Like I wouldn't have this fucking muscle car in pieces over there. And even when I do get it fixed, because I will get it fixed one day, at some point it will get fixed. When that day happens, I'm gonna sell it. Like I'm not gonna keep it. I don't have any like I have no need for 2 muscle cars.
Yeah.
But also had I not bought it, I probably never would have found my Roadrunner because I wouldn't have been looking.
Yeah.
So like there's that. I know that doesn't answer the question. It's the only thing that really comes to mind. I had an N64. I have my N64 from like childhood. The deck has like all this sticker residue and glue and scratches and chunks on it and everything. It's just kind of ugly and old. I love it for what it is, but it's pretty beat up because I've carried it around with me forever. So a few years ago, like several years ago, like Caroline Shack days, I splurged and I bought an ice blue Nintendo 64 like I always wanted. And it was completely like I didn't need it. I had a 64, but like I wanted it. So I bought the deck, I bought matching controllers and everything, the whole nine. HDMI adapter, the whole thing. And at the time I was like, this is pretty stupid because I'm spending several $100s on the Nintendo 64. And I've loved it every day since. Like, I wouldn't get rid of it. I couldn't think about getting rid of it. But I don't really have a good. I don't think I have a good answer to the question.
You know what? I got one. My first arcade cabinet. Because when I first bought it, I'm like, I don't know if I should be buying this. Like, it's big and it's wieldy. When I'm gonna put it out in the house, it's gonna take up space. That was the thing, like, I don't know if I should be buying this and putting this in the house. I can play Street Fighter on my console. I don't really need one.
Yeah.
And, then I got it like, oh, this is fun. This is different. This is different. Just sitting here playing it like in the arcade and playing next to people. Like, yeah, I need more of these.
28 arcade cabinets later.
I didn't have that. I only have one, but I have the one that I have, and I had some of the same reservations, but I didn't spend a whole lot on it. It was $200, so it wasn't that big. But I did have the same reservations. I was like, this is kind of crazy. It's like an arcade game. It's an old game. It's a big, little thing.
Takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't get. I love having it. I always wanted a Golden Tee game. I have one in my house, and I can play Golden Tee whenever I want. Yeah. I do enjoy just having it. I think it's fun to have. It's cool to have.
Yeah. I want a Double Dragon arcade game. So
the difference being that like I can't play Golden Tee without it. Like I can't play Golden Tee on Xbox. If I could, I probably wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, that's a big difference. That is a big difference.
Like you can play Street Fighter, but you want the nostalgia of the cabinet. I can't play Golden Tee. there's only one option to play Golden Tee, and that's kind of it. So, and we have
your
had
Street
fun.
Fighter cabinet like full size, or is it like one of those mini ones?
It's the one-up arcade one, the first one they came out with. That was literally the first one.
Mini ones.
Yeah,
when you say mini, you mean like tabletop, like jam, or like skinny?
No, I mean those one-up ones that are just not full size arcade.
That's what my Golden Tee one is.
Yeah,
those
but it has you put the riser on it to make it like close to full size.
Yes, right.
But it's not even as wide. Like it's
not as wide, but
something about them just like it's too small.
Yeah, it's skinny. I know what you're saying.
It's skinny, but yeah, it's good enough.
I would say the first thing that came to my mind literally was my Chucky doll. But the problem was I never really regretted buying that movie. It was stupid. And when I bought it, I was like, this is stupid. Like that was a splurge of splurges. But the moment I unwrapped it, I was like, oh yeah.
This is worth it.
This is the whole point. I wanted one of these my entire life. So yeah.
I think the closest thing for me might be the Switch. And it's not so much that I use it a decent amount, but my son loves it. So
sure.
Yeah.
Stadia, that could be one. The controller's nice now.
They don't work as well in Bluetooth.
Oh, I don't ever use it.
I've tried using it several times, even like plugging in. Like I've had more issues with it post Stadia closure than before. Before I never had an issue with it.
It's my controller for work, so if I replace
I tried to do the same thing, and I plugged it into my laptop, and it just disconnected at one point randomly. Plugged it and everything, and just stopped working in the middle of the game, and I had to unplug it and plug it all back. And I was like, never mind.
I got nothing.
I tried pairing it to the Apple TV, like half the buttons didn't work. Yeah, it's a shame because I really like that controller.
I paired mine to my PC, but it's like, what's the point when I've got 37 other controllers here?
Same.
Which
I just wanted to get something out of it.
Use Bluetooth.
I enjoyed the controller. The controller was good.
Yeah.
It's a shame, they're coming out with a new TV box. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
It's more like an Apple TV. It's not a dongle. It's like a little concave thing. It hasn't been announced yet, but there have been several like patent leaks. Like it's a thing. People have seen it. They're like diagrams and stuff. You can see it, and it's gonna sit on under your TV. And I'm like, God, why didn't you do this when Stadia was a thing? Like, why did you just give people Chromecast? If you'd given us like a set-top box you could plug into, and like things might have changed. Like, it's just like, I don't know. They were too early or too late. Like the timing wasn't right. The model wasn't right. Like we beat that horse into it
for sure.
The model was terrible. But if you'd done what GeForce Now did today with good hardware, Stadia totally works. It totally works. It was just the model. The model sucked. The idea that you were going to sell people $70 games to stream one at a time was fucking asinine.
Yeah.
And Phil Harrison should be eternally fired for ever suggesting that would ever work. It's never going to work.
He should not be allowed to work in tech ever again.
That's such a dumb thing. Like everybody that saw that could have told you, like, oh, that's a stupid idea. But that's literally the idea they went with. It's like that's not going to work.
You can stream it.
And it didn't.
Yeah. If they had just done, it's $15 a month. We have 200 games you can play. Here's a controller. Piece of cake.
It might still be around.
Yeah, and Delvin, did you ever dabble with Stadia? Did you ever try it?
Absolutely not.
Here's the sad part about all of it is that it did work.
It worked. It
was
really
good,
did.
man. There was a period of time, seriously, before the next gen consoles came out, it was the best place to play like Cyberpunk and Red Dead 2, unless you had like a 3090.
Yep.
Like if you didn't have the best PC you could buy, it was the best place to play those games.
That's crazy. That's wild to think about.
That's how good the tech was.
It was, and it worked. Like for
so
people that
sad.
tried it, like the people of us that actually tried it, like everybody will attest to it. Like it worked. It was there.
Yep.
Just the model was bad.
Damn.
Controller was sweet. The Ubiquity was cool. The phone was cool. Like it was there. It was so close.
Yep.
And then Google just pulled the plug.
Never mind. And refunded everything, which is even more insane to me.
Like, here's everything.
There's no way in hell PlayStation or Xbox would do that today.
Mm-mm.
Could you imagine? Here's all the money that you spent and every game and everything, but here's all of it back.
Yep.
I got a PayPal credit for like $300 from them. Like, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, you keep all that shit. Here's your money back. I was like, whoa.
Yep.
That is
It was
wild.
pretty awesome. It is wild.
crazy.
It was a wild thing that they
crazy.
did. They totally did it. They're like, here's all your money back. Good. Hats off to them. Good on them. I think it sets a dangerous precedent, though.
Yeah.
The next time something like that happens, people are like, well, Google.
Yeah, give me
Google
my
went
money
ahead and
back.
refund us all. Can you run me my money back?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sony's going to tell you
All
to go pump sand.
Yeah. Get out of
Fuck
here.
yourself. Hey,
get
so
You read that end user agreement?
pulled the plug on this PSVR 2 thing. Can we get our money back?
If you read the agreement that you agreed to when you first put that thing on, absolutely not.
Did you guys, we didn't talk about it on the news, but John posted in the chat, apparently PSVR 2 started selling or something. It's like price cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like put it on sale for dirt cheap. And yeah,
I remember when
it's
PSVR 1 did
2,000%.
that big sale.
Yeah.
That is kind of when they took off. Do you think is there any
No.
chance they do something with that?
No. Like I said in the chat, like 2,000% from not selling anything just only means you sold 2,000 units, and that ain't shit. So
Yeah.
kick rocks.
Yeah.
Toss it into the Delaware.
It's really good hardware, though, right?
Yeah, it's great hardware.
Yes.
And they're going to let you
great.
do PC.
I think
They
they,
said-
already
yeah, they
do.
said
Is,
it-
isn't that dongle already out?
I think
don't
it
know.
is. I think they said you can do that.
So if you're interested in like PC VR, maybe you get a PlayStation VR now.
Yeah, now would be the time.
I don't know how much it is.
300 now.
That's not bad. Is it the same
That's the
price
price
that the Oculus is at?
Yeah, that's the price it should have been.
I would still just sell. I mean, and I'm not all that biased. I like VR, but I don't think I could actually adopt a VR platform. I always thought the PlayStation VR was a hard sell compared to Oculus, because Oculus is just where all the content is. It's where the games are. It's where support, even outside the game, it's where support is. Like you can buy an Oculus and have good faith that it's going to work 3 years from now. Yeah. I just don't know if you can do that with PlayStation. Like it'll work, it'll turn on, but like, is there anything going to be there for you?
Like I said,
making
that thing wired was a problem.
At least Oculus, like, at least you can like play Beat Saber from anywhere. Like there's some tangible things that it just does. Where the PlayStation VR is just a viewer. It's a tethered viewer.
Because it's not its own thing. It's an accessory.
Yeah,
it's a like really ridiculously expensive
$600 portal that you slap to your face.
Yep.
I mean that was my analogy for all of that stuff especially the PlayStation is it's so much of PSVR 2 is the Wii U. They're like the same thing. Like similar, the parallels are so close to one another. Like the Wii U, what you could do is you could grab the gamepad. It wasn't a mirror of the screen. It could move around. You could see things in a 360 space. That's what VR, like the technology, that's what VR is. Put a screen over your eyes, you move around, you see stuff in space. And you have motion controllers, right, with buttons on them. Like, this is, the only thing that's missing is the headset. Like, if you take a Wii U gamepad and put it in a helmet, it is that. Like, that's exactly what that experience was. But it's just kind of in a different form factor.
Pretty much.
The only reason I always bring that up is since I've thought of that analogy, and I brought this up years ago. I remember the first time I brought it up, Kyle was like, that's not the same. We just disagree because I'm like, technically they are the same. I can never let go of the idea of Nintendo trying to do this. I don't know if like the Wii U experiment had ended. But like since that, seeing the tech and seeing like where they were game design wise, I can never let go of the idea that somewhere over in Kyoto, somebody in there is like cooking up some VR something. Like they're thinking about it because the design was like
that died with the Virtual Boy. They'll never go back down that road.
You say that, but they had Labo for Switch where you could put your Switch in it and put it on your face.
That's cheap.
Like I'm with you. I'm just saying. There is a design element. Somebody is making games over there with that in their mind. Like they're building like they're doing everything but it. Like they keep dancing around the idea of let's make a VR game. And I'm not sure what they're waiting on. Maybe they're waiting on the tech to get there, to be cheaper, it to be asymmetrical. But before it all said and done, I'm telling you, they're going to do something. They're going to do something like that one day. They're going to try again. Because they just don't, and I'm sorry, them go off. I mean, I'm kind of tipsy, so I'm just talking. I know you're trying to end. Nintendo's history is probably, and I probably could have saved this for Shaq, but whenever we were going to talk about VR on Shaq,
that's true.
Nintendo is not. They don't waste code. Like you see a through line through console generations, you'll see them keep technology and keep iterating off of an idea until they perfect it. There's tons of examples of that. So the idea that they were making these Wii games that were like VR games, just not in the same delivery system, but technically very similar. They were doing it with like Nintendo Land and they did it with Labo. Like, I just can't let go of the idea that like, that's not like, unless somebody came in and was like, that's it, you're done. Which I don't think is the case. I'm not going to be surprised if like, and it may be like a phone thing or something. I don't know, but I've never let go of the idea that I think they're going to try this again. They're going to try it at some point.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I could see like a Virtual Boy 2 or something.
What do y'all think? Do y'all think that Donnie is correct in this? Is Nintendo going to dabble in VR?
I'd actually love to hear from that. That'd be great if you could write us in. We could read back.
Yeah.
Because let us know. I brought this up a couple times over the year, but I've never really gotten people to give me their ideas on it. But it's just something I can't let go of.
Write in, people.
I'd love to know who it is.
The 7, you've got a task. Jump in the Discord and let us know what you think.
There's somebody over there. Somebody over there is like, I want to do quest shit. Like somebody over there wants to make games.
Well, as we ponder that, it's time for us to get the hell out of here. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, please play some video games.
Nobody's sleeping in the middle of the bed. The middle of the bed is only where you do the business. But when everybody's ready to sleep, it's the side of the bed that can't be beat. It's the middle of the bed where lovers meet. But when it comes time to slumber, it's the edges. Ooh, 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 the edges.